San Francisco in the middle 60s was a very special time and place to be a part of. But no explanation. No mix of words or music or memories can touch that sense of knowing that you were there and alive in that corner of time in the world. Whatever it meant. There was madness in any direction, at any hour. You could strike sparks anywhere. There was a fantastic universal sense that whatever we were doing was right, that we were winning. And that, I think, was the handle. That sense of inevitable victory over the forces of old and evil. Not in any mean or military sense. We didn't need that. Our energy would simply prevail. We had all the momentum. We were riding the crest of a high and beautiful wave. So now, less than 5 years later, you can go up on a steep hill in Las Vegas and look west. And with the right kind of eyes, you can almost see the high water mark. That place where the wave finally broke and rolled back.
It's the Ron and Fez show. Back from vacay. 866 Ron 0 Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Fez, the new studio is just absolutely beautiful.
I believe it's an invisible studio because I don't see one, Ronnie. It's so high-tech, I believe it's invisible.
So we're back in the shit room, and basically, now leave that door open because I don't have headphones working. Basically, it looks like nothing happened except for somebody took an axe to this place while we were gone.
It looks like some of the piles of junk got rearranged.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was, we're organizing before we actually build a new studio that's supposed to be already done.
Let me just make a guess here. Union job? A couple of union guys doing this one? No real hurry?
I really was expecting walls, at least, when I walked in here.
All right, Fezzy, I don't have headphones working, so all I can really see is your mouth moving, but I know you're saying words.
Yes, I am.
Either that or it's what I call pantomime. Pantomime.
I am stuck in a box right now.
All right, Ron and Fez show, back and trying to pull this thing together. Fezzy, I did a little Great Lakes vacation, topping it off in Chicago. I found out Dave went to Vegas. Lily went to Montreal. The Rooster rocked Sand Dog. And the exciting thing is Black Earl Douglas took a vacation, first time in, I believe, 7 years. San Fran.
Really?
Yeah.
Black Earl hitting the West Coast.
Hitting the West Coast, doing it upright. Is that why we got that opening today, Pepper? Is that the reason behind that?
Well, that and I was watched Hunt Fear and Loathing about 6 times over vacation.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No asset in town that I didn't know about? Sitting there eating paper. By the way, Pepper, I got to tell you the truth. I heard from so many people loving the best ofs. Loving the best ofs.
That's good. I'm glad people are liking them.
You sent you did a great job with the best ofs. Then I got an email from Nico Fezzy.
Yeah?
Going over everything about the gig that we did, the pluses and the minuses, everything about the show, the pluses and the minuses. I hate to say it. That Nico's got a little head on his shoulders.
Really?
He is a worker.
See, you would never know it to look at him.
That's why you've got to open up to people, see what they got. Look at Pepper. He looks like a fucking mess. But the kid is a work dog. And I tell you the truth, every time leading up to this, before we went on vacation, I heard nothing but bad things about the best ofs. Earl was playing stuff that was a week old, sometimes 2 weeks old. You went all the way back. Some old NEW stuff, some JFK stuff, even did some Free FM stuff.
Yeah. I tried to pull anything I could because we have just loads of CDs of the old shows from years ago.
And just all over the place, I imagine. Earl doesn't have them in any kind of order.
There's the semi-order, but the books have just gone through so many hands that the CDs are all over the place.
I see. So what we really need, why we have people sitting around watching the show, was maybe teach the interns how to organize, put things together.
Yeah, maybe according to date. That might be a new system that we try to employ.
That would be fantastic. Now, Fezzy, we're putting this whole thing together, but I didn't check to see where you went for your vacation.
Oh, I went to Florida.
Uh-huh. What part?
Pinellas Park, Florida, where I was born and raised.
Thunder Bay.
Yes, exactly.
You're on your way to Thunder Bay.
And stayed there for 2 weeks.
Nice.
Exactly.
How was it? Hot?
It was so unbelievably hot. I would start crying on the way from the house to the car.
You know what was really funny is Chicago, it was cold.
Really?
At night, I'm not even making this up. It was like 58, 59. I didn't bring a coat. I didn't think to myself, summer vacation, I should be wearing a coat.
Who thinks you need one end of June, beginning of July in this country?
Yeah.
With forest fires breaking out everywhere.
And apparently Dave was hanging out for some record heat in Las Vegas. I think it hit like 115 there.
118.
118.
Yeah, so
now that's at least 13 degrees hotter than any place I think I've ever been. 105, I think, is my all-time record.
Yeah, you're going hotter than most hot tubs at this point.
That's hotter than the sun. The sun is 108 degrees.
And the cab driver did one of those things where I'm like, wow, it's so hot out. And he goes, don't worry about it. This is nothing. It's going to get to 126 by Thursday. And I'm like, come on. He was just lying. But this
has nothing to do with the story. The story is this.
Yeah.
You, the whitest guy we know, were in 118-degree heat.
Yes, and I got my ass fried big time, and so I'm still.
The good
burnt.
thing is, I understand, and I'm gonna let this one out. On his honeymoon, he lost his virginity. So way to go!
Thank you.
They did it.
Way to go, big guy.
Thank you.
Here's Jim. Jim, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How are you, pal?
I'm buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to you a few months ago. I called you from Antarctica.
I don't even remember. That's the oddest thing about my life. I don't remember a call from the Antarctica.
You would think that one would stick out.
Yeah, well, you guys thought it did. I mean, when I called
Yeah.
you.
I'm sure at the time we were really excited, but I can't remember it at all. Do you remember, Fez?
Yeah.
No, they're
we were
having
talking
concerts now in Antarctica. What's the big deal about Antarctica anymore?
First of all, calling that a concert is going... Did you watch
You
it?
guys were talking about global warming and all that, and I was listening to your online show and everything. So
Yeah.
I was like, well, I've always listened to you guys, and I have XM, but down there, I guess I couldn't get XM or anything. But,
Jim,
I'm still listening.
You do not want to come all the way back from Antarctica and be known as the worst caller ever. That's something you want to say. I'm going to call this show. I'm going to bring something.
I'm sorry. I didn't bring anything to the show.
Did you watch the band from Antarctica there during Gorefest 2007?
Well, they got what they call ice stock down there.
Thank you very much. I am not going to waste my time with you. But did you watch any of the Concert Fest?
I watched some of it, not a lot.
I went Pillar to Post with Big Al Gore. I watched In the Dark, so I could not
stayed
hurt
green.
the environment. Yeah.
You're making your footprints, your global footprint smaller.
It's not global, it's carbon footprint.
Oh.
Global footprints. Why would I worry about a global footprint? I got to walk. I can't swing to work. There's nothing I can do about it. Here is Heath. Heath, you're my Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, we love you here in Chicago.
Chicago!
I hear
Spent
you
a lot of time. You're going to have to go out the side door. Everybody was telling me about a side door in Chicago.
Oh, man. Hey, did you make it to Gino's East?
I did make it to Gino's East.
Is that place amazing or what?
No. But I did have a lovely bunt cake that you people call a pizza.
Hey, I think
I will tell you this. This was my highlight of Chicago, my time there. Wrigley Field, Cubs game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, and now, the last time I was at Wrigley, I'm like, oh, there's nothing more annoying than the Cubs fans because they were not paying attention. But since they were playing Milwaukee, a bunch of fucking yokels from Milwaukee showed up and started shit. So I found myself shoulder to shoulder with the Cubs fans, screaming about Brett Favre as a Vicodin head. That's all I hit him with that.
Just taking on the loyalty that quickly?
Well, I mean, it's the home team.
Oh, yeah.
And I had some decent seats. So I don't like, you know what? I don't care where I am. I don't like when people come out of town. You come from out of town, you cheer for your team, you should sit on your fucking hands. You're in someone else's house. Have some manners about yourself. But this is something I noticed about people from the Midwest. I saw it from Chicago. The Milwaukee people do it. Anywhere it was, Michigan. They tell you how many beers they had. Like they were fucking 14. And like a guy from Milwaukee's yelling, and he's like, look, I'm sorry, I had 8 beers. I go, you're 40 years old. Why are you fucking counting beers? When I'm at this Gino's East place, some guy from Chicago. This is our 4th pitcher. Who gives a fuck? Why are you making a big thing about drinking?
They're probably getting fucked up.
Those people in Chicago walk down the street drinking a bottle of beer and carrying a 6-pack, and I'm not bullshitting you. I don't know what the container laws are out there, but they've shit-canned them. And they just walk around drinking constantly.
It must be all they have. It's all they've got.
But I will tell you this, Fezzy. As a matter of fact, I'll give you 20 questions.
Okay.
Because I thought of you immediately. And it's going to break your heart a little bit that you weren't with me. Guess who sang the 7th inning Take Me Out to the Ball Game deal? I'm going to give you 20 questions on this.
Okay. Let's see.
Let me just say this. Fez Whatley might have fainted. And I'll leave that as my only clue.
No way.
Yeah.
All right. Is it a man?
Yes.
All right.
I said you'd like him, so I'm not going to waste my time. That's 50% right there.
Are they known for singing?
No.
Okay. Television star?
No.
Movie star?
No.
Huh. Let's see. Someone from the world of politics.
No.
Over the age of 50.
I'd say yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Wow, this is difficult.
Well, you're heading in the right direction. Go through your newspaper there and think of all the sections. You've hit a couple.
Right, as an athlete.
No, not athlete, but the world of sports.
Okay, sports announcer.
No.
All right, world of sports, but not an athlete. Is it a coach?
It is a coach.
All right. Oh, from a team I cheer for?
Yes, it is.
I think I have a guess before my 20 questions is up.
Who is it?
Is it Charlie Weiss?
Charlie Weiss.
Oh, my gosh! I would have fainted. You're absolutely right.
Singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game like an animal. Like a big beast.
How is the singing voice on Charlie Weiss?
The whole place was singing so loud I could barely even hear him. But
Sure.
it sounded to me like someone shot a wildebeest. That's the beauty of it.
That is great, bringing Charlie Weiss out.
Here's Jason. Jason, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
What's happening, fellas? 24-23 checking in.
What's happening?
Not much. Just wanted to say it was the Yankees-Twins game last Tuesday, and the worst thing is there was a Braves fan there. Chipper Jones jersey on, his Braves hat on backwards. About the 7th inning, he gets a little loaded. All of a sudden, he starts yelling shit at the Yankees. So the Yankees fan starts shouting him down. He turns around and gives us all the finger. So I'm just sitting there going, hey, buddy, why don't you sit down and make like the South never rise again? Jesus Christ. So then he turns around, gets up, but he punches one of the security guards in the face. They had to escort him out.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, some people show up at the ballpark to make trouble. Why can't you just sit there, have a nice, delightful day, and do me this favor? Don't tell people how many beers you had. I come from a place where when you're drinking, you're supposed to act like you're not fucked up. No matter how fucked up you are, you maintain.
Don't throw away those empties. I want to keep track.
Now, here's another thing, Fezzi. I'm walking down Michigan Avenue, right past Millennium Park. What do I see coming at me from the other direction? A gentleman wearing a Watley Posse T-shirt.
Really?
Yes.
Michigan Avenue in Chicago.
Yeah.
This has got to stop. This is like just out of hand now.
So now I believe it's like the following day. So I went from, oh, I wish Fez was here, he would love it, to, I wish Fez was here, he would hate it.
It's too damn much. I have nothing to do, just so everyone knows, I have nothing to do with the Watley Posse and that hideous logo face of mine.
It's growing, my friend. It's in the second city.
I don't need it.
Chi-Town, the windy city. The city with the big shoulders, that toddling town. The hog butcher to the world. My kind of town. The city with tons of nicknames, Chicago.
I don't need it in the second city. I don't need it in the first city.
That's us, by the way.
Yes.
You know what my kid said about Chicago? Where's the people? How do you walk down the street and you don't run into people?
That's weird.
They got a bunch of buildings that line the lake, and then if you walk over a couple blocks, you don't see anything. I'd be living... That was my favorite part. Chicago, to me, is like Queens with a couple of big buildings. But the fact that there's a neighborhood built around the ballpark, surrounded by bars, with fucking stands on people's roofs, I gotta admit, that seems like a pretty fucking hip neighborhood. Earl, how did they get away with the fact that there's stands on the roofs now? Remember when people used to just stand up there? You'd see them on TV watching the game?
Right, just sitting on the roof, yeah.
Now they got stands up there. They've got to sit 300-400 people at least in every building. They're selling tickets for like $100, and you get free food and booze.
Shouldn't that collapse the roof, though?
What do I know about roofs? What am I, an architect?
It seems like the roof would come down, or people would be getting drunk and falling off the roof every game.
It's a safety thing. Don't fall into the other thing. I'm saying, aren't they taking money away from the Cubs? And wouldn't the Cubs in Major League Baseball be a little pissed off about this? Or the Cubs get a little kickback?
Yeah, you would think they would have to.
Yeah, the Cubs get a kickback.
How do you know this, Earl?
Because with the buildings, they have to go through permits and building codes and all that stuff. They have to work through the city, so...
So why would the Cubs? That would have nothing to do with the Cubs.
No, the Cubs are getting a cut and the city is getting a cut as well. Because technically it is a Cubs game, so...
It is a Cubs game, but, you got free airspace there. I mean, I guess the Cubs could put up a giant net, some big canvas thing so nobody can see.
That would look hysterical, just to keep those people from watching.
Hey, Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's going on, boys? 14668.
Hey, what's happening, brother?
I just want to make an observation. They're calling a pizza pie a bunt cake down in Chicago. Pie versus cake. That just proves how much Chicago sucks because they have to call everything a cake. Fuck cake and fuck Chicago.
All right, see, you got the wrong point here. I'm saying they have their deep dish pizza and it tastes like a bunt cake. It's so thick, it's ridiculous. You eat a slice and you never feel like eating it again, as long as you live.
The deep dish is too much for me. Too many layers.
It's just not pizza. Call it something else. Call it lasagna and everybody be fine with it. That's the thing. You got to wait 45 minutes for your so-called pie to show up. I don't know. I can't. People going, oh, you want to go where it originated? It's like going to Burger King. Why would I go to Pizza Uno? It's a chain.
Yeah, there's a Pizza Uno on every corner. They're across from the Starbucks.
Yeah. Here's, let me go over here. And now, why isn't this working? Why have my phone screen went out? Did anyone realize that we were coming back at all? All right, now it's working again. Now it's not working. Here's Matt. Matt, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's up, Matt?
Hey.
Yeah, they have, the Cubs aren't going to get any money. When you own a property, you have all the rights to that property vertically from there on. So if you want to put any type of deck above your house, the only thing they can do is try to block the view, but they have no right to any of that money.
Yeah, but maybe they go over and say, we'll block the view unless you kick us back some money.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible, but they have there's no law or right of the Cubs to get any of that money. I mean, if they want to do
I understand that, but, anything can be negotiated, my friend. Anything at all. That is something I do know in life. All right, let me go over here to Tony. Tony, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ron. Yeah, actually, hey. Wrigley was threatening to block that view, and they do kick back to Wrigley now.
They do give them some money.
Yeah, when you try to link, like on the website through the tickets, you can actually link up to, the bleacher seating on the rooftops across the street.
I got news for you. To sit in that old ballpark, and really you do feel like, the Brooklyn Dodgers could show up at any second. That's how old and great this park is. And you look out and you see, it was just totally packed. And you look across the street and people literally hanging off the roofs to watch the game. You're thinking maybe baseball isn't as dead as they, say in the papers. It really is a live sport. It is a place to be.
Absolutely worth every minute of going to that park. It's an amazing park to go to.
Yeah, thank you very much. And, you get a little Charlie Weiss singing to you, which doesn't often happen.
God, you can't beat that.
Welcome back, boys.
I got news for you, Fez. You would think Chicago, so close to South Bend, he'd get a big cheer.
Right, yeah.
I didn't hear anything.
Really?
I didn't hear anybody else excited. I yelled out Charlie Weiss like a maniac. But then again, I'm sitting down around people who I got to tell you, were just asshole and elbows drunk. Just drunk off their fucking minds.
Oh, yeah, that's their plan for the day.
Yeah.
That's part of the outing before they even get to Wrigley.
Here's, it's our good buddy Jay Moore. Jay Moore, how are you, pal?
Hi, buddies.
What's happening?
What's vacation like? Will you tell me stories about it, Uncle Ron?
Oh, you know what, Jay? I really wish you would get a break sometime and get away from Hollywood. The stress and strain of Hollywood.
I have a mustache. I look like old Fez.
Now, what are you doing with a mustache?
I'm doing the Night Watchman. I play a cop with Forrest Whitaker and Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like the super bad. Especially Bob Sugar from Jerry Maguire as a cop. I'm bad and I beat up black women. It's like they wrote it for me.
Really, it is almost a Jay Moore story at this point.
18 pounds of lean muscle mass, my friend.
Hey,
all natural.
Tonight, who's going to win the home run derby?
I didn't know who's in it. I would say Pujols probably.
Earl, who are you picking?
I'm going to go with A-Rod. He seems to be the hot bet right now.
You know what?
Have you
ever once cheered outside the Yankees ever in your life, Earl? Just to know what it's like?
No, not really.
He's not a baseball fan. He's a Yankees fan. That's it.
Isn't it funny to think like 3 years ago, Bobby Abreu was in the finals, and now the guy got 5 home runs?
Yeah, I know. Well, and after they took him out of a city that loved him and puts him in a town that people don't give a shit about him.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I just heard you talking about Chicago, and I fucking hate Chicago. Do you love it, or you really like it, right?
I thought nice town, but I'd have a tough time after living in New York to go with a city angle on it,
Don't you find it's more like a nice couple of blocks in another town would be better for Chicago?
Yeah.
Like if there was a Chicago section of Manhattan.
Yeah.
Little Chicago.
It really would kind of feel that way, but they've got so much pride in themselves that it's almost sad.
Well, being pride in number 2 is really bizarre to me, too.
The other problem is, like, their tourists come from Iowa and places like that. So
Yeah.
you're running into a lot of people with dumb shorts on and funny T-shirts.
Fanny packs.
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot of fanny packs there in Chi-Town.
You know what you never want to hear from a guy wearing a fanny pack?
What's that?
You want my opinion?
That's true. That is true.
Hey,
Now, the Millennium Park gimmick, beautiful. I got a lot of respect for that. And I like the old architecture better than new architecture. Everybody talks about, how great the new architecture is. I like old Chicago, which seems to be being, pushed away.
That sounds like the name of your novel.
I am. I'm going to call it that. I'm going to become a Chicago writer.
I like old Chicago.
Yeah, I like old Chicago, the Ron Bennington story.
Well, Earl likes the Yankees. I like the Yankees and the Dodgers. You like the Phillies. Like, congratulations coming up on that 10,000 loss milestone.
It is pretty exciting, finally, to have a record in Philly, even if it's the worst possible record known to man. At least it's a record.
I like that year in the 40s, you guys finished 62 games out. How is that possible?
It really is the most pathetic organization in the history of all sports. I mean, that's saying a lot.
To the Cubs.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Yeah.
First of all, Buck Showalter had a great quote once. Actually, it's hard to believe. He said, every team wins 50, every team loses 50. It's what you do with the other 50. But the fact that you finished 62 games out meant you just handed the other 50 over.
It's really... Now, you have to remember, it was a pre-war year. So, there was problems. And a lot of guys were signing up.
Stress, too.
Yeah.
Tension. Tension in Europe.
Hi, Tap.
I am not Tappy. Hi, Jay Moore.
I know. You're doing great. After you get a new therapist.
He does seem like you're doing a little better there, Fez.
I'm trying.
You were sweating and walking around nervous before the show, but now you seem okay.
Yeah, I feel okay.
Yeah. No, we got a major problem because people heard a bunch of the old shows thanks to Pepper, and they heard energetic, excited, happy to be here, funny Fez.
Right.
Who would have had a great line right there.
Oh, right there. Sure.
Right there. So we can't play those anymore, Pepper.
Is that Pepper Hicks, the famous Pepper Hicks?
Yeah, it's Pepper Hicks.
Wow. My wife spit out her coffee when I told her that you said to the blind musician, you think it's the long hair? That the reason you don't get girls is the long hair or the fact that you have marbles for eyes?
Now, I thought your wife didn't like us anymore since Fez outed her.
My wife has never not liked you. She's adores Fez and his humor. Like, everyone bows at the altar of Bennington, but my wife actually goes to a different church called Fez Watley.
I got to tell you something. The chicks dig Fez EW. They love Fez.
Well, what's not to love?
But I can't seem to get guys to love you.
Playing personal messages on the air without permission, that's kind of not to love.
That's seriously rude.
Oh, yeah, when you think about it, yeah.
That's rude.
Yeah.
Like, hi, Fez. I never talk to anyone because I have social anxiety phobias, but I'm going to play it all out for you in an answering machine message, and then you can play it to everyone tomorrow like it's some kind of sick joke.
You know what to do, Jay? Have her give me a call about 3 o'clock.
You bet.
I'm guessing...
I tried calling you at 3 o'clock. Twice you said, I'm in a staff meeting, and you go, hey, buddy, it's Jay Moore calling me up. I'm in a staff meeting, Jay. I gotta go.
Seriously, call me more. It really...
No, I won't.
No, I want you to, because it feels great to blow off a big Hollywood star.
I go, well, you never answered the question. What position would you play for any team? You're like, I don't know, catcher for the Yankees. I'm in a staff meeting with Earl. And right then I thought, wow, of all the alibis.
So I say, you want to have small talk with me.
OJ had a better alibi.
So we're supposed to have small talk together.
I'm in a staff meeting with Earl. That was your alibi.
I'm screaming at Earl. I don't want it to bleed over into our relationship.
There's no reason for you to have to hear that, Jay.
I have so many unanswered Ron Bennington questions.
Yeah, I know. I want to keep it that way.
Are you married?
No, I'm not. I would love to be, but my wife passed away.
Is that true?
When?
Shh.
You should have told me.
During vacation.
Hey, you know why the Cubs will always... This is why a Cubs fan is doomed forever, more than any Philly fan ever. Like, the Cubs don't have a Mitch Williams.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about it. The problem with the Cubs is being owned by such a conglomerate like Wrigley and then the Tribune is they don't give a shit if they win or lose. All they do is...
They spent a lot of money this year, though, right?
Yeah, but all they're doing is making sure they get $3 million through the turnstiles because it's Wrigley Field. You went. You're a Philly fan. You went.
Well, it's a great old ballpark, but I got news for you. Those people go because it's a great place to drink in the sun. They are locked up for 8 months a year. Now they get to drink. There's chicks there. Their version of the chicks.
Yeah, but you haven't yet is baseball. That's my point.
Yeah. You know what's the weirdest thing in Chicago? I kept thinking over and over that I saw Chris Farley, right?
Right.
And it was always a woman. Every single time. I go, oh, my God, that's got to be Farley. And it was a chick.
Mrs. O'Leary had more than one cow.
But the problem with the Cubs is you don't have to put a competitive product on the field in order for people to go there and have a great time.
That's true.
And the Tribune Company figured it out and said, look, we got 8 dildos and Sammy Sosa, and everyone will watch him run out to right field and have a gay old time. It truly is. They don't have a chance of, unless they go to private ownership, they don't have a chance of becoming a winning franchise. And yeah, they threw money at Soriano, and they got rid of Michael Barrett to appease Sombrano. That franchise, that's not a ship that can turn around.
This is what was killing me, too. The Milwaukee fans were yelling because they didn't have the giant Jumbotron replay. And they go, in Milwaukee, we have a real ballpark. I'm like, you're fucking sitting in a cathedral, you know?
Yeah.
You're sitting in a perfect old ballpark. And you're bitching about the lack of a Jumbotron?
And your team is owned by Stephen Hawking.
True.
Bud Selig looks like Stephen Hawking.
Good one. All right, Jay.
I could tell by the deafening silence. I'm going to call in at about 3 o'clock. We'll catch up.
All right, we'll catch up.
Hey, God bless.
All right, take care, my friend. All right, how do I put this phone on silent? How does it look like I'm somewhere else?
I don't think they have a feature for that.
It really does hurt me that you hurt his wife.
You know, I've apologized.
That's not enough.
And he said he's accepted the apology, and he said she's not mad, but then he brings it up every time we talk to him. That apology is obviously not working.
And it's not real. Fuzzy, if I beat somebody in your family to death with an axe,
right,
and then I apologize, is that any good?
No, we still have an axe murder victim.
And the way you are, yeah, I know. And the way you are, I know you'd do it again if she called you later.
I promise I would never do it again. Let Nikki leave an answering machine message, voicemail message for me again.
You sound like a grandmother.
And I would never do it again.
Put something on the Victrola, and I promise I won't play it again.
Whatever it is, that phone recorder.
All right, Earl made it to a ball game, too, Fezzy, in Oakland.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I got tickets through Eddie Trunk from the Boneyard, who got them through Mike Piazza, who plays for the Oakland A's now.
Now, you act like Eddie Trunk and Mike Piazza called you. You called them and bugged them for free tickets.
No, what happened was I saw Eddie last week, and I told him I was going out to San Francisco, and he was like, hey, if you need tickets, give me a call. And so I went out there, and I wanted to go see the Giants, but they were on the road, and I found out Oakland was playing the Jays, so I gave Eddie a call. And
So you crossed the bridge for free tickets?
Yeah, I went across the bridge to...
+2.
to Oakland.
Earl, you were out there with a girl?
I didn't go to the game with her, but I was...
You met a girl?
I didn't meet a girl. I mean, I had a friend of mine who lives out there.
A friend of yours, a romantic friend of yours?
God, I wish. I mean, yeah, she's a friend of mine. I've known her since, almost 20 years now. And she's been out there
Oakland.
All right, so hold on. So you were couch surfing over her place, right?
No, I stayed at the hotel.
Free fucking tickets from Eddie Trunk.
No, I stayed at the Hotel Pickwick, which was made famous by the book The Maltese Falcon.
The oldest place you could possibly find?
Yeah, I mean, it was like the one place that was right near where... It was like right near Market Street, which is where everything flows through. So
I like San Francisco. I'm not going to lie to you about this. A little chilly, but beautiful town.
It was freezing. The 4th of July, it was 45 degrees at night.
Now, this is a weird thing. There he is at 45 degrees. How far is he from Vegas? You know, it's like, 7-8 hour drive?
Yeah.
And there's 80 degrees difference. This fucking Al Gore might be onto something, this nutty bastard. Even though I mean, that man showed up as a hologram and was still dull.
I missed the hologram opening.
What did you say? Duran Duran?
I saw Duran. Well, I think no, that was at the Princess Diana one too. I saw Duran Duran at Princess Diana's tribute.
I don't know what a Duran Duran head that their actual name is, whether Duranis, but that's what Fez is. This is his one rock band in the world, Duran Duran.
It was the first concert I ever went to see in a very thin tie. Very fat jacket, very thin tie.
Why be hard on yourself when you're trying to make a comeback?
I'm doing my best.
Yeah. You feeling like the comeback's coming, Nello?
I feel like the comeback is on its way, yes.
Do the old voice. There's the start for you. Here's Denny. Denny, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, boys, how y'all doing? Glad to have you back.
Thanks.
Chicago, the second city comment there. A lot of people think that's, because they're the second largest city in the country.
Denny, we all saw the Vince Vaughn movie. All right, don't sit here and quote breakup like we all haven't watched it. We did. What? The movie Blow. The movie Blow.
Oh, well, I haven't seen that movie.
Sure you haven't. You're doing it the same exact way he did. Beat for beat. Everybody wants to pretend they're Vince Vaughn in this day and age. That's what everybody's personality is. Vince Vaughn.
They think they're Swinger.
The double V. Here's Ethan. Ethan, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, buddy. It's I know you're in Chicago. That's where I'm from. And if you went to the Taste or the best restaurant of the South Side, maybe.
Yeah, I rolled through the Taste of Chicago.
How'd it taste?
Yeah, what'd you think? It's like too many people.
Yeah, it was a little too packed for my taste. A little too touristy. Again, that's where I met a lot of the people from Iowa. You got a lot of strange people who vacation in Chicago. I guess if you live in the middle of the country, that's your city.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you get people from, like, Iowa and Michigan and Kansas. Fucking yokels, if you want to know the truth. Walking down the street with a balloon of cotton candy, going, look at the pretty building.
It's driving distance for them. They don't have to get on a plane.
Here's the other thing that got to me. I go into the museum dying to see the Edward Hopper. I want to see the Nighthawks. It's on fucking tour. It's on tour, Fezzy. I did not see the Edward Hopper I wanted to see.
I had no idea they had sent these things around.
Sure they do. You know that. You know that things tour all the time. You wouldn't get to see half the paintings you've seen in your life if they just stayed in one place.
Well, that's true. Right.
Let me go over here to Dragon. Dragon, you're on Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, I spent my vacation in Delaware last week. And,
beautiful. What part?
Wilmington.
Now you live in large, my friend. Wilmington, Delaware. That's the nation's playground. You know what you ought to do? Yeah. Take a bus tour to Claymont. Have the time of your life.
Well, we went. I asked my father-in-law. He lives up there, and I wanted to get an original.
You know, when you get off the plane there in Wilmington, Delaware, and they don't have an airport, which is the odd thing, but George Thorogood meets each and every person as they come in.
Very nice.
He says, "Welcome to Delaware," and he gives you a gift bag.
Well, I wanted to get an original Philly cheesesteak, and so he took me to Geno's in Philly's. I wanted to know is that a pretty good place to go?
You know, it's where all the yokels go. You did a nice job for yourself.
All right. But I also ran into a family that were asking about baseball, and they asked if we had a team. We're down here in Indiana near Louisville, and I said, yeah, we got a minor league team down here. And they said, yeah, we do too. It's called the Phillies. So they were pretty...
Yeah, Philadelphia hates their teams as just every bit as much as they love them. I mean, people will show up at a game and go, Jesus Christ, before the first pitch, before the kickoff, before the tip-off. It's almost stomach cancer for those fans.
It's a defense mechanism. They know the heartbreak is there, ready to happen.
I don't think it's a defense mechanism, Fezzy, if it's just true fact that this team is going to fold by the end of the year. It's just a fact. That city is snake bit when it comes to sports. And I don't know if anyone loves sports as much as these stupid bastards. They know everything there is to know about sports, except for how to win. That's what kills you. Now, I did manage, I had to, for the Nathans, I made sure I was in front of a TV set, Fezzy, because, you know, for years, I've been wanting Kobayashi to lose. I've been saying, The United States, which, if you've noticed, we've given up our competitive edge when it comes to international sports.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And eating, I mean, we're easily the fattest country in the world. We should dominate eating. And to have this Kobayashi come into Coney Island year after year after year and defeat the Americans, it was heartbreaking. This year, different story.
That's right. Joey Chestnut brings back the yellow mustard title belt for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest back to the United States.
And let me tell you something. Kobayashi, God bless his little yellow heart, he took it to the limit. He set his own record and still lost.
Oh, yeah, shattered that. Kobayashi comes in with 63, shattering the 59.5. That was the world record set by Joey Chestnut. Joey Chestnut at Nathan's hit 66.
And that 63 doesn't even count the two he puked into his hands. And then stuffed back in his mouth, which they took 2 hot dogs off. I would add it to. You eat some puke after eating 63 hot dogs? Come on.
It was all going so fast, I had no idea what they meant as reversal. It took me a second to figure out when they're screaming, that's a reversal, that they meant, oh, that's a puked-up hot dog. I had no idea.
He puked it in his hands and shoved it right back in his pie hole, or his dog hole.
And Joey Chestnut, not taken into account, didn't blink for a second all of Kobayashi's pre-match hype about, oh, my jaw's dislocated, I have arthritis in my jaw, I have this, I have that. He wasn't falling for anything.
I know that you feel that way about Kobayashi, and you still have the hate. And I had the hate for the guy for 9 years. But looking at him there, I felt like I was looking at Whammer in The Natural. My heart broke a little bit, because now I'm like, well, we beat the giant. What's next? You know, where does America go now? Our innocence is lost. What's next? We can only go down from these heights.
Hopefully we'll have another record-breaking year next year.
But it won't be the same. We won't be beating the evil champion. Now it'll just be back to business as usual.
We do need a villain, I guess.
How'd Pat from Menaki doing this? I heard he ate 6 hot dogs.
I think it was 6, because I remember at one point they put the camera on Pat from Menaki.
Yeah.
And one of the announcers goes, he's not even in this. So, you know, with his slow marathon hot dog eating style and a 12-minute competition.
But don't you feel like he's the only fun personality out there? Like, why won't they focus more on Pat? Because he's hysterical.
Oh, he's hysterical, and he gives, you know, the great thumbs up, Hacksaw Jim Duggan tongue hanging out of his mouth when they introduce him. But he doesn't get enough dogs in him to get the media attention.
How many did he eat, Earl?
Pat finished with 22 hot dogs.
22.
22.
1/3 of the champ.
And don't you guys also like that one guy, Eater X, who, like, dresses up like the Ultimate Warrior?
No, I don't like to play those games.
Oh, okay.
I like a guy who shows up and says, here's who I am. I'm Pat, and here's where I live. Menaki. Deal with it.
How about Crazy Legs McAlfrey or whatever that guy's name was?
You know, I feel like they make a mockery out of the sport.
That guy was a seasoned veteran, though. They say he comes to play every single year.
I know, but at some point you better win it.
Yeah, well.
Or finish top 3.
I always keep an eye on that Black Widow, Sonia Thomas.
She's the best in the women's brigade.
Right.
But as I've told you time and time again, the best woman in the world cannot beat a good man, although she dominated from Pat from Menaki.
True. She usually dominates in any sort of food competition. It's a food that America doesn't care about. She'll win like a lima bean eating contest.
Right, but who shows up for that? A lot of those, when they do these contests, it's just a bunch of local guys, and then they send, one of the champs. So I'm not saying she's going up against jobbers.
Yeah.
And she can eat like no woman in history.
Don't you think it should be illegal to dip the buns in water?
No, I got no problem with that at all.
What?
Because there's a soggy bun, to me, is disgusting.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem legal, though.
What do you mean it doesn't seem legal?
Doesn't seem right.
It is right. It's all set up properly. They have rules. And the last thing they want, I don't want to see a guy eat 30 hot dogs because they're dry. I'd rather he wetted them down, let him slide down his gullet, and off he goes.
Now, would you rather be forced to eat until you burst, or be starved to death?
Interesting.
Which way would you rather go out? You're being forced. You're going to die either way.
Yeah.
So you're either being forced to keep eating until you just explode, or
like the movie Seven.
Right, yeah.
Which, by the way, all I could think about the other day, 777 during Gorefest. I was waiting to find out something horrible had happened, and nothing ever does. There's never really been a brilliant psycho killer. So disappointing. All right, so you eat till you burst.
Right. Or you're starved to death. You got to go out one of either of those ways.
What kind of room am I in? Concrete room?
Yeah, you're in a regular.
Can't get out of?
Yeah, you can't get out because you're there forced eating.
Perfect. I smash my head until I'm dead. I smash my head until I'm dead before I go to any of them.
You have to pick. I think I will take the force to eat until I'm dead.
I don't know. Here's the problem with that. You're eating while you're puking, and then you're saying burst, which means you rip open your stomach lining. That sounds pretty bad. Now, when you're starving, don't you fall into some hallucinogenic state where you're just totally numb? It's almost like drowning where you don't even know what's happening to you anymore?
I would think, yeah, you're probably going to lose it mentally.
Yeah. You know what we ought to do? We'll starve somebody like that. We'll put flies on their face, and then we'll send those pictures to Africa and say, look, this happens to white people. And then underneath, but haha, just joking. We forced this guy to starve to death.
It doesn't happen to everybody.
Yeah. Or we send pictures of a guy that we're forcing to eat and, send that over to Africa.
Don't you wish you were him?
Which would you choose?
That would be to get, from someone who is actually starving, to get their perspective on that.
Now, here's the thing. You would think, okay, you're forced to eat. But is that through a funnel in your mouth? Because that sounds horrible. Like they do with the ducks for pate.
Oh,
they shove a funnel down their gullet, right?
Right.
And then just force it in till they explode. And oddly enough, Chicago, the city I was just saying, you can't get a pate.
Oh, that's right. The mayor banned that.
They love geese so much out there in Chicago for some reason that they give up fine eating.
I can't imagine the outrage.
Yeah.
The geese outrage that went through that city.
I go, can I get some pate? They're like, no. But here's a deep dish pizza. We think you'll enjoy it.
Now, if I'm getting funnel forced fed, where it's just, some sort of protein shake or something that's just filling me up,
yeah,
I may change my mind on it.
You don't get to change your mind. You starve or you eat to death. You already made your point.
But I thought it was going to be like I keep eating ice cream. I'm spooning it in. Like for some reason I'm hypnotized or something where I can't resist. I have to keep having sandwiches one after another. I can't stop myself.
Oh, wait a minute. So now you've taken this to hypnosis? This is where you go with your premise that there's some super hypnotist that gets people to eat until they die? Doesn't exist in the world. You got to keep some kind of reality into this.
Yeah.
And I say the guy's hands are tied behind his back, a funnel is shoved in his mouth, and pancake mix keeps pouring down like concrete.
Oh! God, you're going to feel that.
Yeah.
You're going to feel your actual insides filling up like a balloon.
What I would do if they starved me was get little wide rim glasses and shave my head like Gandhi and just wear a sheet wherever I went. That was the fucking nuttiest shit. Gandhi used to starve himself to make other people change.
Yeah.
What?
So
what the hell are you talking about?
So you're not eating. It's not ruining my dinner. Now, starving, that's pretty painful too, right? Yeah. Doesn't that?
There's no good way to die.
Yeah.
Let's face that fact.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing you can do is put a bullet in your brain like a man. Other than that, you go out hard. Any kind of disease or sickness, forget about it. It's terrible.
The starving, if I did the starving, it could take a while. But at least I would get to a point where clothes look good on me for a while.
Yeah, till you start swimming in them.
Right, yeah, I mean, it's not going to last, but there is going to be that small window of opportunity where, hey, you look all right. You're doing good for yourself.
Then the problem is, instead of looking like Gandhi, you look like a bag of skin. You look like a hefty bag of skin that's empty. That's terrible.
Oh, yeah, with me, you'd have to donate some of that skin to burn victims or something. It would just be layers of it.
Hairy burn victims? There's no one I could give your skin to that wouldn't come back and be pissed off at me later.
That would hurt my feelings so bad, even being dead, that a burn victim, someone who can't even get down the street, they're so grotesque, didn't want my back skin because it's too damn hairy.
The only person I could give it to is Robin Williams. And then he would even say, this is a little too far gone.
This is too much. Can you shave this thing before you put it on me? Where did you get this, a lamb?
What I could do is make a hairy kite out of you. A giant hairy kite.
I don't think it would fly, my friend.
Well, let me be the engineer on that one. I'll worry about that one. You just stop eating.
Just the hair blowing in the wind is a pretty picture, though, of a fur kite.
How are you doing with your stent eating?
I was doing really good till I went on vacation.
Yeah.
Then, it's like, I eat with my family, and they're not heart healthy at all.
Yeah.
And I end
Even though your dad has more stents than you, right?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, my dad, he's got the pacemaker, the defibrillator, everything. He's got hardware walking around in his chest.
He's got a defibrillator in his chest?
Yeah, so if his heart stops, this thing shocks him automatically.
Now, what if somebody tries to open up to use the garage remote? Ow! God damn it, I told you. Use that by hand.
Stop shocking me. Yeah, he goes away from microwaves, that whole thing.
And he eats anything he wants. He doesn't worry about it.
No, that man eats crazy. Five Guys opened up by their house.
Yeah.
So it was like they were so excited to have Five Guys, burgers and fries.
Yeah.
That it was like Five Guys, maybe 5 nights in a row there.
Did you go?
I went. I couldn't resist.
Was the Five Guys just as good as the DC Five Guys? Be honest.
It was just as good. It was just as good, I swear.
I don't like something great happens and they turn into a chain. It's always sad to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why everything's got to become a chain.
It takes the specialty out of it, the specialness.
Yeah, I'm sure at one time people were excited about McDonald's out in wherever the hell they came from. I think San Diego.
Look at those
somewhere out in California.
Look at those beautiful golden arches. Well, now they're on every corner.
Yeah, it stopped being a cool thing.
So, yeah, a little off the diet while I was on vacation.
But maybe you got nothing to worry about. You get a defibrillator like your dad, and you'll be fine. I'll be in charge of starting you. When I see you having a slow show and you're not paying attention, come on, Watley. Give me a one-liner.
I don't want someone installing jumper cables and a Sears Die Hard in me to keep me going. I should be able to handle this on my own.
Is that what you were thinking when you were at Five Guys eating the peanut oil fries?
And a big bag of them, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you bring any back with you? Now, this kills me. We can't go across the street with you anymore to get a burger and fries. We're all watching ourselves around Watley, yet you go down there with your dad and you're living the big life.
I was on vacation.
Be on a monthly vacation with us, something where we can go out and eat again. But again, if you don't care, why the hell are we caring? Earl, why are we caring?
Because we just care. We care what happens.
What am I talking about? You're already starving yourself. You're swimming in those pants.
Yeah, I mean, I actually lost weight.
Black Gandhi.
I lost weight during the vacation. I actually.
Were you nervous about the fucking earthquake, or you took every money you had into that couch surfing trip?
I did pump a lot of money into that trip. No, I just didn't.
Oh, you basically went like Boxcar Willie across the country.
No, I flew JetBlue as per your suggestion, which was
Dave, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Shut up, bro. Dave.
Hey, Ron. Hey, I wanted to let you know that Chicago was the birthplace of McDonald's down there where Ray Kroc started.
No, he didn't. I know for a fact. I know I've read that McDonald brothers were in San Francisco.
I beg to differ, my friend.
You know what? I'm going to put you on hold. If you're right, I'm going to send you in the prize closet.
Sweet.
But if you're wrong, I will ban you from calling ever again. Now, you're from Chicago?
Yes.
I went to that Billy Goat Tavern with a cheeseburger.
Right.
Worst hamburger in the history of mankind.
Really?
Yeah, the SNL skit place. Yeah, it sucked.
Just hideous. Just terrible.
That's a disappointment when you hear about a place and then you go and it stinks.
No one ever said it was good food. They just said that the Greek people were funny.
Did you at least get that much? The Greek people going cheeseburger?
Yeah, and they were doing it now as a gimmick rather than, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like they were yelling, cheeseburger, no Pepsi. All right, I get it. You know, have some timing. if you're going to do a bit for me, my friend. Make sure that you're trying to go out of your way to make something happen. All right, who was the guy? All right, here's Dave. Hey, Dave?
Yeah.
Looked it up on the internet here. My boys took care of this for me. McDonald's started in San Bernardino, California, 1940 by the McDonald's brothers.
Oh, crap.
So you're lying to yourself.
I'm sorry, man. I thought I visited it, and they told me it was the first one down there, so somebody flat out lied to me.
All right, there's another thing about Chicago, Fez. In downtown Chicago, the fucking McDonald's has a parking lot. This is how much space Chicago has. It's big sky country. It's like Wyoming with a couple of buildings. I don't know, and I'm not going to say it's an awful town, but let's not throw the city name on it right now.
Okay. Yeah, if it was that big of a city,
yeah,
you wouldn't even have a parking lot, which would be prime real estate.
Right.
You would have some sort of skyscraper, going up there immediately.
Even the tall buildings that they have don't touch. There's enough room that they're all like 40 yards apart, 50 yards apart. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous, I tell you. Maybe I'm overreacting.
I don't think so.
Mark, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Good.
As far as eating myself to death, I would do it as long as I had the choice of food. I want steak and lobster, no starve.
You would think until you had more than you want of steak and lobster. Now, by the way, if this was 1958, that would be considered fantastic food. You'd have a surf and turf. But our palates have matured a little bit, my friend. You would think, and I've been with Fez when he's ate too much steak, and that was one sitting. You had how much?
48 ouncer.
That's all?
Oh, no, I get it mixed up. 64 ouncer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I get it backwards.
A 64 ouncer, which 48 is not the opposite of 64. You ate 64 ounces of steak. Did you get a plaque on the wall or something like that? I forget.
Yeah, I was supposed to get, there's a plaque up there, and then I get my nameplate on it.
Okay. So the beauty of this was, Fez, at the end of that meal, you look like you want to die.
Oh, yeah. Hurting really bad by the end of that giant super steak.
Your problem was you were also eating potatoes and shrimp. And then after you eat 64 steaks, and you had, what, how many 7 and 7s?
7 of them, actually.
7 and 7s. And then he turns around and eats a chocolate souffle at the end of it. I'm telling you, I saw waiters just wiping tears out of their eyes. They were like, I never thought I'd live to see this.
That could have been the greatest meal of my life. I had the side dishes, the appetizer, the 64-ounce steak.
Yeah, but I remember that you were moaning through the end of it because it was cold steak and grizzly and, it's not good anymore.
Yeah, it was totally getting tough and everything, the colder it got, and it cooled off quick, too, which was a problem for a steak.
Here's Darren. Darren, you're on Fez.
Hey, how's it going, buddy? Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be.
Is it just me, or I don't know if I'm reading into this, but it sounds like Fez is fantasizing about eating himself to death with that ice cream Vinnie Cooper put him onto.
That was Frenchie.
Frenchie with the party cake.
Yeah, not Vinnie Cooper. Have you ever gotten back to any of that party cake?
I have not had party cake ice cream since the second stent.
Why don't you try 2 spoonfuls? 2 spoonfuls is not going to be bad.
Because I can't stop at 2 spoonfuls.
Mm-hmm.
2 spoonfuls will send me through an entire half gallon.
That'd be like me saying I couldn't do a half a rail. I don't believe it, Fez. I believe you and I have the discipline now.
We don't.
No.
We don't have it.
Have you seen the new Big Brother?
No, I have not watched any new Big Brother so far.
I don't think you know about this, but late at night, 12 to 3, Showtime 2, TOO, shows Big Brother After Dark. So you can watch them in the house, uncensored, like you're on the computer.
Oh, nice. And is it live?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Except for, I hate everybody in there. There's a girl with an unbelievable ass, fantastic tits, and I kind of want her to be voted out. That's how awful she is.
I got to jump on board. How long has this thing been back on?
I think you're in the 3rd episode now.
Oh, okay. Not too bad. I'll check it out on Showtime too. I always like Big Brother in the summer.
I'm not like you though. I can't start a show late. I can't walk into a movie late. I can't do it.
The movie I can't do late.
I got to see everything from the beginning, and then I'm part of it. But I can't be like, oh, I'm just going to come in 2 or 3 episodes in and try to catch up. I feel like a mongoloid.
TV, I can definitely do it. I can get caught up. It's a little easier, too. The movie thing, that just frustrates me, because then it puts me, like, in a bad mood for the rest of the film, and I don't even feel like trying to catch up.
Who sent these, Dr. Steve? All right, Dr. Steve has sent me some Brian K. Vaughan novels. They're comic books, but they call them novels. And then a beautiful thing called Inbred Rednecks, which I feel like I've already taken that trip.
Very nice. Graphic novels are what those are called.
Comic books is what they are. Children's toys.
They're not toys.
Speaking of which, did you see the Transformer movie?
Still haven't seen Transformers.
You've changed.
I have not seen a lot. I had 2 weeks and saw nothing.
You're normally the type of guy where you have to see your summer movies first day.
Yeah, where I'm, I want to line up, I want to get out there, I want to make sure I got the tickets, and I'm in there with my popcorn.
Now, Earl, go back and check the tape on this. I told everybody I thought Transformers was going to be the biggest movie of the summer because it wasn't a sequel. And it's doing pretty damn good. I don't know whether it'll be the biggest, but it was a gigantic hit.
Yeah, I think over 150 million during the first week.
First day.
First day?
Made 150 million first showing.
So, yeah, and like 63 million over this past weekend, the past 3 days, to add to its 150 plus.
So you're not going to see it?
Yeah, I'm going to see it. I just haven't seen it yet. I definitely want to see it.
It looks ridiculous.
They're robots in disguise.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Here's Joe. Joe, you're on Ron and Fez. Whoops. Joe, go ahead, buddy.
How you, buddies?
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, I just wanted to find out, with the exception of the guy that's on Big Brother with his daughter on there, this is probably the best-looking overall cast of Big Brother ever. What do you think?
Yeah, they went out of their way, and I think it's because they were tied in with Showtime to hopefully get someone to fuck. But there's only one girl who's, like, drop dead, and that's that annoying chick. I don't know her name, Jen or something. I got to talk to Indy Mike. But, they did try to go way younger. Remember how they would mix it up?
Oh, right, yeah.
You'd have all different kinds. It'd be like an experiment. Now it's like, let's try to find workout studs and girls with nice asses. They did the same thing with Real World. The whole point now is hoping that people fuck. That's the only thing that they're interested in.
Yeah, just grab the models.
Earl, did you make that phone call for me?
Not yet.
Why not?
I was going to wait until we took a break.
Why would you do that when I gave it to you an hour ago? Because I'm supposed to meet the man at 3:30.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'll get on it right now.
Oh, boy, that vacation did him a lot of good, didn't it? In the meantime, the interns could not be better. The interns could not be better. I don't understand it.
This may be the best class of interns yet.
Oh, I don't even think it's close. I think these interns are people that will be working in the business. Well, we've worked with some nice people before, but it didn't seem like they were addicted to the business. You take this Pepper Hicks, he's going to work in the business.
Yeah.
And this Nico, he's probably going to end up shooting past Earl in no time at all because he wants to be a producer. A lot of people are like, I'd like to be on the radio, so I'll intern for a while. This Nico is going to end up running his own radio division. I didn't say it happened.
Nico, I was being impressed with before we even left for vacation. Mm-hmm. The way he was diving into meetings.
Scott, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell Fez and everybody else to save their money. The Transformers movie, while the action and the special effects are pretty good, the movie itself just sucks. I mean, the characters are horrible. The lead...
Scott, how is this different from any other summer movies that Americans line up to see? There is no such thing as a good, big action film anymore. That's done.
I went to see Die Hard in the same day, and that movie was great.
I heard just the opposite.
The Transformers movie is horrible.
I heard just the opposite from, I don't think I want to quote him, but a friend of ours who was invited to the premiere. That's all I'm saying. One of our friends who was invited to the premiere told me it sucked. But aren't all those things, like those Pirates movies, people come back, it was great. What's it about? I don't know. I can't understand the plot. How can you not understand a plot to an action movie? And why are they lasting so long?
Oh, I know. Now everything's got to be like 3 hours long. That was always the reason why I preferred popcorn movies. I usually don't like to sit in a theater that long. Now you'll get like a 2-hour, 45-minute Superman Returns or something. I don't know why they do what they do.
Won't you, Big Brother? Big Brother.
It's a Big Brother update.
Andy Mike, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, guys. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Now, you are doing your Big Brother things on the internet now?
Yep, doing it again. Oh, you mean the
You're podcaster.
Yeah, I sent you. Yeah, I'm doing a little podcast thing that I tried out. I took a thing from Bob Kelly does a little podcasting using Gcast, so I tried that out. But I got my website running, and I'm still talking on the...
what is your website?
The easiest way to get there is just ilovebigbrother.com.
That's the way I'll go then.
That'll
Now, Mike, I'm not crazy about this cast this year.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I feel about them. I'm not crazy about them much either, but it's been 2 years since we've seen a new face. So
Yeah.
have to go back to Big Brother 6 to remember what it was like to see a whole new cast.
Now, who's the girl with the big tits and the ass hanging out?
That'd be Jen.
Jen.
The bikini model and the estate manager or whatever she is.
Yeah, they're going to vote her off.
Oh, well, she's not nominated yet.
No, but I mean soon.
Oh, I would think she's going to.
I watched the Showtime too. She's so annoying. They hate her.
Yeah, they don't care for her. If you saw the TV show last night, she cried over her picture on the memory
Yeah, that was
board.
classic TV. She's fucking crying, saying that my picture looks like shit. I don't want to be seen on TV. But why she's doing it, she's got this big ugly cry going, like, you know, about a picture. I'm like, you're on TV now, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, so she's not long for the show.
Now, the other thing is, I don't want to give it away, because I will, Fez, because it's your fault you haven't seen it. There's a bomb somewhere in the house that will go off.
There's a bomb in the house?
Unless they defuse it. All right, Mike, so you're not sure if you even like it this year.
I'm going to keep. I like watching it. I like watching how they twist and turn things. Like I still find I don't watch necessarily for the people. I just like watching how CBS or the producers manipulate what you see, like on that Show 2 channel now, which I don't have yet, but is pretty much what you get on the feeds. I just like seeing how they change it around and make a storyline out of it.
Yeah, I understand. All right, Mike.
All right, take care, guys.
Talk to you later.
All right, bye.
I thought Mafia Life Chris was going to be running the Big Brother stuff this year.
Won't you, Big Brother? Big Brother.
It's a Big Brother update.
He's going to call us later. He got caught up in some wacky internet scandal over the course of our vacation. We had a long vacation, Fez, the longest vacation of our careers.
Yeah, we leave in June. We come back in mid-July.
Yeah.
It seems very odd.
And they gave us 2 weeks off and only counted it against 1 week of our normal vacation time because they needed that 2 weeks to make this fabulous new studio. During that 2 weeks we were gone, they moved the couch. So I don't see us moving into this new studio probably until 2012, 2013.
Yeah, the latest estimate I heard was another 2 weeks. Look out there.
No, that's bullshit.
There is no way that's getting done in 2 weeks.
Well, there's been a change. They say Opie wants a lap pool. So Opie can swim his laps. We got to do this show out of a closet.
Well, that's going to take permits and city red tape.
He doesn't care. I guess he needs to swim laps during the show. They say it's great cardiovascular.
Well, it's good cardiovascular. Yeah, it exercises every part of your body. But why do you need it in here to hold up construction?
I don't know. It's got to be done, though.
Swim laps anywhere.
Wiki and Nilo lay in bed at night going, what can I get, Opie? What can I get Opie so he'll like me? I don't know. Gotta think of something great. Earl, did you make that call yet?
Yes, I did. Left a message.
Well, a message isn't making the call. You gotta reach the man.
All right, I'll keep trying.
Well, you just started now, an hour in. Oh, he drives me crazy. I'm not even gonna say anything. I woke up 2 times in my during my vacation and screamed out in the middle of the night, God damn it, Earl. 2 times.
Still unwinding at that point, I guess?
No, it's something. I was listening to a tape over and over while I slept. I hate Earl.
Oh, where do you get those tapes?
I have made it myself. I had Pepper produce it for me. Put it on a loop. Last 8 hours.
And then relax.
And sleep. It's hypnosis, the kind that you've got to eat your ice cream self to death.
That forces me to just keep eating cereal and whatever else.
I can't believe we didn't talk about this over the vacation because this is a Fez Whatley story. The cross-faced crippler, Chris Benoit, kills his wife, kills his son, and then kills himself.
Yeah, over the course of 3 days.
Yeah, the longest slaughter in the history of mass murder. Is that considered mass when it's 2?
I think 2 would give you mass.
I need more. I need 15.
At least 15?
Yeah.
Seems like a lot to ask of a mass murderer, but okay. Now, do you count does he count the suicide? Does that count as being part of the mass murder?
Well, you know what? I mean, a suicide bomber is a mass murder.
Yeah, and he takes himself out.
So there you have it.
Yeah, kill the wife on Friday, kill the kid on Saturday, kill himself on Monday.
Now, I saw a thing, a Hulk Hogan quote, where he was very kind towards Benoit, but said that wife was a devil worshiper.
Really?
Yeah.
The former woman, Nancy Benoit.
So I don't know how the devil got caught up in this, but Hogan believes so.
All right, that's weird. Now, I immediately, when I heard that Benoit, his wife, and his 7-year-old were dead, I assumed it was the wife's ex-husband, Kevin Sullivan.
But every time there's a murder, you assume it's Kevin Sullivan, and that's wrong. That's jumping to conclusions.
I mean, talk about demonic. The guy called himself the Prince of Darkness.
Not everybody saw the Florida League the way you grew up, Fez. Believe it or not, Kevin Sullivan is not a household name for people.
So, yeah, so they do the big 3-hour tribute that Monday on Raw. Then they find out that it was Benoit responsible for this.
They actually tributed a kid killer.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if he goes into the Hall of Fame next March.
Now, I met Benoit before, have you?
I don't think I've ever met Benoit.
Backstage, I know when we were backstage, he never came on our show, not an outgoing time, but someone said, this is Chris Benoit, and I said hi, and he never felt comfortable to me. I know all the wrestlers liked him, but he didn't seem like a social person. Like he never wanted to get out in the regular media and do interviews. You know, like he would do the interviews, and even that, it looked like it was difficult for him. You know?
Oh, he was a horrible talker. He was really bad on the mic when it came to cutting a promo.
But try to think to yourself, did you ever once see him interviewed outside of the WWE world? I can't remember a time. I know he never did our show, even when he was champ.
Yeah, no, I never remember him being interviewed outside of that. And he always had a look about him, like he was just like a mean person.
And they say he wasn't. They say he was a good guy. But I agree with you. He seemed like not a comfortable guy to be around.
Yeah, like Scott Steiner always had that same look of, you look like you scream at old people in traffic.
Yeah, but I agree with you on the Scott Steiner. But he never seemed like an asshole the way Scott Steiner always seemed. He just seemed like a guy that would rather be left alone.
Right. Yeah.
You know, where I don't think, Steiner, I mean, anybody who's ever been to a bar knows to stay away from a Scott Steiner type. And Scott Steiner, by the way, killed no one, so we shouldn't drag him into this.
Good point.
John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies, welcome back.
Yeah.
I think you're going to need to go at least 3 before you can get to a mass murder, because at 2 you've got a double killing or a double murder, and the third and killing himself, that's murder-suicide right there. So you got to go.
Yeah, but what is suicide more than murder of yourself?
Yeah, but that's I don't think it falls under the same legal jurisdiction there.
I don't know if it's legal. What we're talking about, it's more pop culture.
See, I think you have to include the suicide victim in the murder victims.
Why would you say the suicide person is a victim? They're actually the person doing it. They're the perp.
Yeah, that's true. The suicide killer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to include somebody who asked for it.
Yeah, I think you have to include... I think it's the final body count, whether that includes the killer or not.
I wouldn't include the killer at this point. I say 2 people were murdered, and the murderer is dead. That's the way I would write. That would be the headline I would write up myself.
That's a little wordy.
Yeah. In my book, I like old Chicago. All right, here's Bobo. Hey, Bobo.
Hiya, buddies. It's a pleasure to hear your lovely voices again.
Bobo, what are you still doing out on the streets? I thought that you were moving out.
Oh, well, I have 50 days left, and I'm trying to find a place, but it's
so you got some extra time since we talked to you.
Well, yeah, but now I've actually signed an agreement, so it's the hard, fast clock.
I see.
I could be dwelling in my automobile for the third time in my young life if I don't find an apartment.
Young. Bobo, make a call. Call a place that says for rent and go there.
I'm doing that. I mean, I'm not trying to do this telepathically.
But you're talking about going right to a car. Now, you're leaving with a little bit of money, right?
A little bit, yeah. It looks like the way it's going to have to swing, though, because of the way I earn my living and, just that it's been so long. It's hard. I don't really have conventional references and all that. I'll probably have to, front. What I try and do when I talk to people is I say, look, I'll give you a half a year's rent up front.
Why?
And because they want all kinds of documentation and payment receipts and things I don't have because, usually when I work, I just get paid cash.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is a lifetime of working under the table.
So you can't put, KOP's Horror Film Fest down as a reference?
No, I don't think he'd...
I don't think no matter what you had from that, no matter what documentation, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't want any horror film people staying in my apartment house.
So you're horror film folk, eh?
Why don't you do this? Why don't you just stay with Kathleen from the Bronx for a while and bri till you get back on your feet?
Well, is it cool to do that when I'm not invited? I mean, I saw them this weekend and they didn't ask me.
I thought for sure they were letting on that they'd love to have you. Maybe it's going to be a surprise.
I know as a fact they have a very comfortable pit group that you could sleep on.
Yeah, they were lucky to get that.
Yeah.
At one point I was thinking of calling Fez because I know he's got
a spare room.
Yeah.
And let's face it, you're a New York artist.
It would be cool. Bright lights, big city.
Fezzy?
No, he's more Baltimore taste.
What do you think? Just for a couple of months, till he lands on his feet.
A couple of months?
Till he sells his new paintings, Fez Watley Nude. Bobo, did you hear my Edward Hopper story, how disappointed I was?
No, what? Edward Hopper?
They moved the painting I went to see, and there was just a little plaque where the painting should have been. But I did get to see American Gothic, which is strange after all these years.
That's weird. That's cool.
American Gothic is Grant Woods.
Yeah.
So where's the painting?
I think it was in Japan. It was on the road somewhere. I forget.
Yeah. They must think in Japan that it's
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system. If this had been an actual emergency, the tones you just heard would have been followed by additional information or instruction. We now return to your XM programming, already in progress.
Like a Don Knotts movie.
I mean, the thing is, you'll never know why.
Yeah.
I mean,
so no.
I mean, everyone can understand killing your wife or your best friend. You know what I mean? Something gets carried away, an argument. Why go kill the kid? What was the thought there even after all that time? I do plan on killing myself. I don't want anybody else to raise my kid.
Yeah, or is it the kid's going to tell?
Tell? You're already going to kill yourself. Telling is not going to be the problem.
Don't you think it's... Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Bo.
Don't you think it's kind of like he's erasing his existence, though? I mean, he zipped his family right out of the world, there's no trail. He evaporated.
All right, Bobo.
Okay, take care.
Call me when you get to Kathleen and Bryce, okay?
Well, I was going to go to Fez's.
Fez, this is your chance. Do you want a roommate?
Stop at Kathleen and Bryce first.
Just say yes or no.
No, I don't want Bobo as a roommate.
How about a week or two?
No, not even for a week or two.
Wow.
A month or two.
All right, Bo.
Okay, love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Here's, it's our buddy Dugout Doug. Hello, Doug.
What's up, boys? Welcome back.
Thank you.
Do we have to use math with Benoit? Because even though he killed himself, his son, and his wife, he did bring back Vince. So
that is true. Vince McMahon came back from the dead.
And seemed really annoyed that he had to blow off his gimmick.
Well, I don't know whether you saw Vince on the Today Show and some of the articles written, but a lot of people are holding the WWE somewhat accountable now because they're trying to blame this on steroids.
I saw the thing on WWE.com where it was the case against this being roid rage, where it was almost like they were more concerned about that than the fact that a guy and his wife and 7-year-old are dead.
Well, I think they are concerned. I mean, that was their friend. I didn't hear anybody come out and say Benoit was a bad guy before this happened. He did apparently snap. But why was it, the drugs? I honestly think most of these guys, it's not roids. It's years and years and years of painkillers.
Oh, yeah, because that's got to be nonstop. You're always in pain at that point.
Yeah, and that starts to affect your brain chemistry. Now, a lot of people in this country stay on drugs for a long time. All different kinds of drugs. How many people do you know they get up in the morning and are taking pills?
Quite a few.
What does that do to your brain after a couple of years? You don't know.
Yeah.
You're trusting these doctors who are in the business of selling drugs.
And they do give them.
I never had a dealer yet say to me, "You okay with this? Seems like you're doing a lot." I'm not worried about you. So what happens after years and years of being on these drugs? Here's Ryan. Ryan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Buzz, what's going on?
Yeah.
Benoit killed his son because his son had dwarfism.
Why not just put him in a basket outside Little Beaver's house and say raise him as your own? Or Skylo Low. Either one of those guys would love to have a son.
As Transformers, man, you got to see it. Rocked.
I can't imagine. I may go at some point later in the summer just to see these special effects, but I can't imagine that I will.
I'll be seeing it. Now, back to Benoit's kid. Now, I've seen different things where it's like they said he did have this disease and where people have said he didn't have this disease.
So what, though? Either way.
Yeah.
What's the hell's the difference? There's no reason to kill anybody.
It's still just another part of this mystery we're never going to know.
You're going to kill someone for being short? That's the thing? Jockeys would never live. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah. What can we do for you?
Oh, no, I just called in. You were talking about the potential that the interns had, and I didn't hear any love for the Rooster. We partied with the Rooster this weekend up in Cape Cod. The kid was on fire.
Now, what was the story with the Rooster? What was he doing in Cape Cod?
Well, no, we have a 4th of July party every year, and the Rooster came up. I'm good friends with his older brother, and we're playing this game, Polish Horseshoes, on the beach, where you take these two PVC pieces of pipe and then you put a beer on top, and people stand about equidistance apart, and you throw a frisbee and try and knock the beer can off the PVC piping. And the Rooster started the game off, and he was doing pretty well. Finished the game, had more welts on him. I'd say check him right now for any welts or signs of frisbee whiplash on his body.
John. It's the Ron and Fez show. Rooster, come on in here. By the way, I hate drinking games. I find them to be ridiculous. Just sit and drink like a man would. You don't need help drinking. Rooster, you went out to San Diego, though, right?
Yeah, then I ended up in Cape Cod after the 4th of July.
How's the San Diego gimmick? How did that go for you?
It went pretty well, but the Cape Cod thing really was completely off the handle. That was more of the almost like the work part of the vacation.
All right, thank you very much, buddy. Tried to set up a San Diego story. Not going to go for it. Go back to a same old Cape Cod gimmick. Here's Scott. Scott, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ronnie. Good afternoon to you and Fezzy there. Hey, I've been on the painkillers like 8 years. They ain't fucked me up mentally.
Well, we've all been on painkillers too long, and they always fuck you up mentally.
Well, I don't think so. I beg to differ on that one.
I mean, you're not thinking like yourself, and then if you miss a day, your anger turns different and all. Are you on them now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know.
I'm in Percocet.
Yeah, you don't know what your personality is anymore because your personality is constant Percocet. And I'm not saying like you're not in pain and you don't deserve it. But by putting a chemical into your body over and over and over, it changes the chemical makeup of your brain. And who are you besides the chemical makeup of your brain?
Right, yeah, it's and you're absolutely right, because it's the moment that you notice it the most when you don't have it to take. That's when you notice the change.
But you also, but as you notice, and you're not going to notice because you're inside. You know, it's like seeing what you look like without having a mirror around, or even with a mirror. If you have a mirror, you still look at yourself in a picture and go, "That looks totally different than what I say." So when you have changed your chemical makeup, how are you the one to know whether you have or not? Now, you've been on some kind of drug lately, right, Fez?
Yeah, the Effexor.
How's that worked for you?
I've noticed that a lot of the body jitteriness that I was worried about getting is back. I don't see where it's helping so much with anxiety.
Yeah.
I do feel where I don't feel as depressed as I used to.
Right.
I don't feel as hopeless in situations as I used to. But the other things that the jitteriness and the anxiety still kicking in.
You want to offset that?
Yeah.
Coffee. Just drink a lot of coffee, and then you won't know what it is. So you're anxious instead of depressed.
Right.
You traded depression for anxiousness.
Yeah, it's and they were telling me that this Effexor would help with both situations.
Yeah.
And anxiety, I haven't noticed a difference on. I haven't seen where that's helped at all.
What I could do is have the kids pop bags next to your head every once in a while.
That's not going to help, because then I'm going to be nervous waiting for the big loud noise to come.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that, the other day my hand was really trembling. My knee gets going again, just like I didn't want to have happen.
No.
So I see the shrink this week. So we'll be discussing these things. But I don't know if the goods, the good that I'm getting out of it outweighs the bad.
Here's Shane. Shane, you're on Ron and Fez.
I don't think that was Benoit's biological son.
Oh, no wonder he killed him then. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and about the painkillers. When you come off those and the withdrawal symptoms, you turn into a crazy person.
Yeah.
I've been there firsthand.
Yeah, we all have. And it's not a good thing. Withdrawals, and, then the problem is that you work up, immunity to these things so fast that before you know it, you're taking handfuls. What it used to take to do one. Any kind of down to get back to that down feeling. So all of a sudden you're taking, 30, 40, 50 pills a day. And I don't think that, I don't know whether, to me, if you're the one taking the meds, it's up to you. Now, I'm not saying the WWE shouldn't be helping these people if they know that they're on meds. But I'm not as quick to, I don't know. There's been a hell of a lot of deaths in the WWE.
Oh yeah, you're getting what, 7 to 10 a year?
I don't know.
I think you do get that many. It seems like, and not always the active roster guys like Benoit or
the old timers that are only in their 40s now.
Right? Yeah. We lost Scary Sherry, over vacation as well.
What happened with her?
Found dead in Alabama at her mother's house. They said unnatural causes, but no foul play. So, still waiting toxicology reports on that.
Most of these people seem to die with an overdose, and it isn't a steroid overdose. There's the occasional heart exploding. But
right.
Most people go to sleep and don't wake back up.
Yeah.
And guys that, have punished their bodies a lot over the years. See, that's the thing that people don't realize. You only get so many bumps. You only get so many times to fall on roller skates before you start to, your body will break down later in life. Now, you take a look at a lot of the extreme guys now, or those jackass guys, they're all in their 20s, some of them early 30s. Where do they hit 40? Chevy Chase is a guy who ended up addicted from pratfalls.
Yeah.
Because things just start to happen to you after.
Everything just starts to disintegrate with that neck and back.
Nate, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, welcome back, buddies.
Yeah.
I got a cure for Fez's jitters.
What's that?
Start jogging, fatso. See ya.
No, you would jog, but you're worried about the heart exploding.
Yeah, I can't jog right now. I have to wait until my doctor, my cardiologist doctor, clears me to start any sort of exercise program.
Here's our buddy Hard Rock, Johnny. Johnny!
Hello, boys.
Yeah.
Welcome back. How was your vacation?
Good.
How's
I'll tell you this, Johnny. We'll never forgive you for leaving us alone at the Hard Rock.
What happened?
We missed Hard Rock Johnny. We missed having the go-to guy.
I listened, and I don't know if Don told you, sent him a few emails during it when I was a little bit angry, but,
No, I didn't hear about that. What were you angry about?
Nothing. We won't talk about it. It's okay. The honeymoon at Planet Hollywood at the Hard Rock. That's nice.
Oh, that he went to Planet Hollywood.
Nice. That's very nice.
We plugged the wrong place?
Well, they're our biggest competitor, I guess, but, it's okay. It's like me giving away, at your next event that we do here, me giving away, let's say, radios for another provider.
Sirius radios.
I don't want to.
But what we hope is one day, like us, you will join up with Planet Hollywood, and it'll be the Hard Rock Planet,
the Hard Rock
Hollywood Cafe.
You'll own two worlds.
Yeah, it was. Other than that, it sounded pretty good. I listened to it again actually this weekend. It was nice.
It could have been so much better.
You think?
Some of the things worked real well. I got to tell you right now, we should be doing the Uncensored Match Game show because that was hysterical.
I enjoyed that so much.
It came across really well. I mean, I was listening to it over when I was in London, and it sounded good, and it sounded even better the second time around.
But backstage, I will tell you this. When I showed up, all I saw was frightened faces. We did not have that, I have got the list, I know where we're going. And then, come on in, Pepper. Pepper got put into a situation. Now, you remember every meeting I said, who was going to be running the sound? And they're like, a DJ. And I'm like, well, he doesn't know the shows. He doesn't know the intros and the outros of the bit. Well, Earl, who for some reason was on the phone the entire show, the executive producer, he didn't want to run the thing. He had Pepper over there. Pepper got his feelings hurt because he did not know what to hit on the instant replay.
I was a little nervous.
Yeah. Somebody told me at one point they saw you sit down in a hot sweat during the song by the Pat
Smithereens?
Yeah.
Guy?
What's his name? Pat
D'Annunzio?
Pat D'Annunzio, yeah. That for a while you were rocking along with him, and then you looked like you were going to fade, and you sat down. But, we put these guys... Now, Pepper had never been in a live show before, and he'd been given a thing for shows, intros, and outros that he did not understand how it was supposed to run. And nobody went over this with you before, right?
I went over a little bit, but I probably could have used a little more guidance.
But somebody who had done it should have been on that. I would have rather had Earl, who does that work during the show, been doing that instead of off stage.
Some experience on
that.
He was like 10 feet behind me, though.
Yeah, but with his phone in his ear.
But not coaching you from there.
No.
Earl, why would you put somebody inexperienced on that?
He wanted to be. He felt he was up to the challenge. He wanted to do it.
But you know that he didn't understand it, right?
Yeah, and I went over it with him more than once at the not at the broadcast, like before the show.
It was at the broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were on site, but
up to that point, it was going to be you or Pitsy who had done it before.
Yes, that's true. But
so that is what we talk about. That's why we have the things before, and we tell you that the important things, make sure you take care of that. You should have some kind of list to check off. Why were you with your head in the phone like Al Dukes?
Because I was back here at the studio because, especially during the breaks, I needed to know how long the breaks were, how much time we had.
But why not put somebody else on that isn't involved in the show, and that way you could executive produce? Because we didn't have Johnny. Last time, let's face it, Johnny executive produced for us.
Yeah, executive producer, floor manager, everything.
It's fun. I really wish I could have been there for this one. It sounded good, I'm telling you.
Yeah, to you it sounded good, Johnny. I would be thinking it sounded good, too, if I was in London. You notice that we all could have been further away from each other during a vacation? We just, exploded in different directions.
Just hitting the corners of the country.
It just seems like it. All right, Johnny. Anything else up?
I said, I was also following when I was over there. That Benoit story was huge over there because I guess WWE is extremely big in.
Yeah, they love wrestling in England.
And I was following the story, and actually one of my big sources of news was the RonFez.net website. And,
well, that's where to get the big news.
That's where I always go for my news.
Yeah.
It's good. And I had said that I posted in the thread that I had wished you guys had been on just to get, the initial reaction and to hear what you guys thought about it. And I read there was a huge article yesterday in the Daily News that Conan, who used to be a WWE guy, WCW guy, he's awaiting a liver transplant right now because of all the drugs over the years. And he was saying that these guys, like back in Benoit was one of them in WCW, they used to party like they were rock stars.
Yeah.
They'd as soon as they were done with the taping, they'd hit a bar, they'd drink, they'd do coke, they'd just go absolutely nuts. And then at night they would all take the sleeping pills, is it ketamine?
Right.
And they just would knock out for 8-10 hours, and that's the only way they could survive. And they're saying that they're thinking that withdrawal, they said the withdrawal from that is just
it's just disastrous.
Worse than
It's
heroin,
just so
they're saying.
difficult.
And then he just, the poor guy just snapped. I mean, it's crazy to even think about.
Yeah, it's terrible. I felt sick that night. I really did. And I really felt guilty because Fez and I have introduced my kid to how many dead guys over the years. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah.
Fezzy kind of brought him up on wrestling, big wrestling fan. And, we'd have him backstage and all, and he got to introduce all, meet all of his heroes. And now so many of them are dead, it's ridiculous.
There was a list in that thread on RonFez.net of wrestlers who have died in the last, 10 years. And it was, just a huge list. And it's not just, bit players. I mean, there's guys that were, huge superstars, who were just dead from it. It's all just from that hard life. I mean, they didn't, that hard. I mean, if he would have just killed himself, it's understandable. But
Johnny, you did dodge our gig.
What's that?
You did dodge our gig.
And to blame it on Benoit now.
Yeah.
It was, I do. I wish I could have been there, not in London enjoying the rainy weather and a very weak dollar. Everything's very
Yeah, isn't that sad?
Well,
I don't know whether anybody saw 60 Minutes last night.
No.
But the guy who's like the comptroller of the United States says we're fucked.
Ugh.
It was
that the last 8 years and what's coming up with the Medicare thing, this country's fucked. And he goes, he don't think we can spend back out of it. That's how much trillions and trillions of dollars of debt we're going to be to ourselves. We've been borrowing out. And he goes, the fucking Democrats know and the Republicans know. And no one's doing anything because it's bad news.
Right.
They don't want to be the ones that say we got to raise taxes. But we fucked up and fucked up bad. And a lot of it comes back to the healthcare cost. Because we got so many, within the next 20 years, most of the people who live in this country are going to be retired.
Oh, yeah.
The baby boomers, right?
Yeah, baby boomers. And people live longer.
Great.
So your life is screwed.
I'm not going to make it to old age.
They said you won't even own a car in 5 years. Cars will be at $1.5 million. All right, Johnny.
All right, boys.
All right, next time we do a gig, be there, all right?
I promise.
Do you mind?
I promise.
Peace.
Yep.
And yeah, the gig did go well, but it should have been even better. Not to bitch about that, but obviously here was a major mistake. And we have this uncensored match game, which was, Dave's thing for him and Casey. Fantastic idea. And then Ant we have to play. Anthony is going to be up there. And killing. Jimmy Norton, killing. Whose idea was it to put Baby Love up there, who could not and would not even attempt this?
Yeah, Baby Love just really basically gibberish.
Yeah.
We were getting from her.
Scribbles.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't know why one wouldn't give the name Scribble and at least get one thing right. But Baby Love, two things she did wrong. Number one, she didn't attempt on Match Game. And she's better than that. She could have done really well.
Sure.
She's smart. And two, that gown she's trying to outshine the bride, which I do not like when someone tries to outshine the bride at a wedding.
There's always a woman like that at every wedding. Usually it's a relative or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the bride look like crap on this day.
Yeah.
You watch what I wear. It happens all the time. I don't understand the women that can't let a bride have her own day.
All right, so Baby Love going out of her way to outshine Casey. And quite frankly, she was dressed nicer than Casey.
True.
Two, tries to destroy our show by not giving any real answers. And three, got somewhat inappropriate with Colin Alke. So there's three things. Is there a picture of Dave and his lovely bride, his wife, now Casey, on the front page of RonFez.net? No. It's Baby Love and Colin Alke.
Yeah.
Now, after the show, remember, I don't know whether you noticed, me and Wiki kind of had words with each other during the show, because it was a clusterfuck. And he kept saying that everything's going to be fine. And I hate when people tell me things are going to be fine. I don't want a fucking show to be fine. I want it to be great. Fine's not good enough. But, he's never really worked with us like that. He should know to leave me alone a little bit back there. But we talked later. We both wanted it to be a good show. And that's why we had words. But guess what he thought the only bad part of the whole show was?
What?
Colin Alke wandering around on stage with that dirty dog.
His dirty stuffed animal dog?
He's like, and all I kept thinking is, someone please take that kid off the stage. And I was dying because if you like kids, that's adorable.
Right, yeah.
But if you don't like kids, that would be like someone letting a fucking bear loose on the stage. You know, Wiki wanted... Wiki, it's odd that he's in radio because he's so visually motivated.
Yeah.
Everything that he likes is visuals. And I'm only thinking what's going out over the speakers. He did a fantastic job with the room. The room looked beautiful. The women looked fantastic. There was a big thing of Dave and Casey up behind the stage, looked gorgeous. Everything in the room looked fantastic. You know, he did a great job with that. In the meantime, I got Crazy Earl's medicine show running around on stage that we're trying to figure out.
I love the Colin Elke part. The fact that he would not stand still.
But that's because you like babies. You like kids, and that's adorable to you.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to have something go perfect, you don't like a kid wandering around with a dirty animal and a wiffle ball in his hand.
You bring up a great point because there's no way if you were listening on XM that you knew Colin Elke was running around being a maniac.
Yeah.
So for that part of it was no problem.
But see, I grew up around little kids my whole life. I had little kids. You know, I like kids, whether they're my kids or not. I find kids to be hysterical. Wiki was looking for, a beautiful moment.
Yeah. He wanted some dignity, some elegance to go along with this. Not the filthiest stuffed animal in the world being thrown around that stage.
And how old is Colin, Dave?
He's 1 year old about.
I know it's too early to call, but that kid's going to be a raging alcoholic. I see everything in his personality. Yeah. And I'm not just basing it on his parents. That kid is on his way to doing nonstop drinking.
Yeah, he's very enthusiastic, and I think I was over Alki and Solaire's house on Saturday, and he was eyeing the Budweiser very, very closely. And
might as well just give it to him. No sense of him trying to fight this. It's like fighting a tsunami. And just let it roll in.
I also didn't understand why he was wearing a sailor's outfit, but I guess that just made him all the cuter.
No one understood anything that went on color-wise with that wedding, let's face it. Those polka-dotted dresses had Wiki in a tizzy, too. I thought the girls looked nice. I thought they looked like silly, like clowns. I thought it was like a funny clown show.
They all should have gotten out of one small car.
Now, how did your family like everything, Dave?
My family...
Because once it had stayed pretty PG-rated...
Right.
Until Jimmy Norton, which, God bless him, he did his act no matter who was there.
Yeah, between Norton and Melinda,
Oh, yeah, Melinda was hardcore, too.
Yeah, she had a few words. Right. And
yeah, you know what? You're right. Melinda broke the cherry on the, we're trying to behave in front of Dave's family. And after that, I just said, fuck it myself.
And when she said some of her expletives, I just looked up at my table, and my dad was just eating a chicken leg or something.
Yeah.
Totally horrified. My mom got up and pretended that she had to go to the bathroom like 8 times.
Yeah, but every time she did, it was on the floor.
What's the deal with that, Dave?
But I think it just took them a while to get used to it, and then afterwards, we're all having dinner and everything, and they surprisingly thought they had a really good time.
You know what, Deb, by the way, he went and had family time, right, after our show. The rest of us went off to Loonies or wherever the hell it was. And I heard from every bridesmaid was upset that you only invited HTG to that.
Well, my parents like HTG and Mike Kaka.
Who doesn't?
And
why wouldn't they have the other ham and eggers?
Usually the bridal party goes to the reception.
Well,
that's me, traditional.
Right.
That's what we think about with you, Watley, traditional.
Well, the other bridesmaids, and look, I love them to death. They're not as, shall we say, presentable as HTG.
Gotcha.
Okay, so no, I love them. Right. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's an air of dignity with HTG and Mike Kaka, a first-class type look.
All right, let me go over this. Overall, how were you and Casey? How did you feel about the wedding?
Overall, A+, 10 out of 10, 5 stars.
Well, that's nice to hear. That's why we did it.
No, it was really great.
And you know what? The guy that we really need to thank is Wiki, because he went out of his way with this thing.
Absolutely.
And he's the only one of us. Like I said, that room was a beautiful, beautiful room. And he was the only one that was really in charge of that.
It became a real wedding. I mean, and that's what it was. It was a real wedding. We have real licenses, and so I'm glad that someone took it kind of seriously because it was important. But yeah, it was great. And thank you for the honeymoon, even though it was 122 degrees out there.
Well, you know, we thought, we couldn't book you in Death Valley the way we wanted to. We really wanted. We said, well, let's get these two parched. Did you enjoy the honeymoon at least?
Yeah, I did. Actually, it was great. We hit all the major casinos. We saw this magic show with this weird Norwegian guy, Hans Klock, who then Klock with an L, and all of a sudden he has Pamela Anderson like appear out of a mirror and stuff.
I saw that. She's doing a magic act now.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing for her, but it was fun for us because we had like fifth row seats. So that was great. We hit all the casinos.
How'd Pam look?
She looked good to me.
Yeah.
Now, Casey said she's looking a little older.
Yeah.
But to me, she looked good. I thought she looked pretty
Casey
good.
thought you were going to run off with Pam Anderson.
Did you gamble away all your wedding envelopes?
I certainly gambled a lot of it, yeah.
How did you make out? Did you make out like a bandit?
I probably lost around...
No, I mean with your envelopes.
Oh, my envelopes was great.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want me to say the actual number on the air or no?
No.
Okay.
But you did well?
Yeah, I did extremely well, and I have to thank everyone who gave a gift and everyone who showed up to the wedding as well, and Ron and Fez, who were mega generous, let's just say that.
Really?
Yeah, mega.
Well, I wasn't. Were you, Fez?
I didn't think I was too generous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was very conservative.
Well, write it down. Let me see.
I guess maybe compared to the
Ham and Eggers,
the Mike the Teachers and the Shell Banks of the world. Mr. B, I don't want to call anyone out because every gift was appreciated, but there was like 4 or 5 people, Shell and Flash were among them, who signed their names to an $8 towel. So those people, I'm not exactly.
Did they really?
Yeah, I swear to God. Swear to God. So maybe compared to them, your gifts were quite generous.
But they're interns.
I know. But still, a towel.
Well, you got to get registered somewhere then.
We did. We did get registered, but we shouldn't have put we shouldn't have put anything under $10. I guess that
and
was
a bunch of them signed it.
Yeah, there was like 6 of them,
Yeah.
6 or 8 who signed that towel. That
But at the same time, remember, you made them buy their own drinks. Normally, when you go to a wedding, you're getting a little something back.
All right.
And you don't get to watch other people eat.
I know, that disturbed me. That fucking disturbed me, because I didn't even get a piece of that cake.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'll make that up to you.
Earl, how did you feel the wedding went?
I thought it went okay, but I thought... from my perspective, I thought I could have done a lot better. And
well, how could you do better if you're in the other room on a phone?
No, I just felt I felt very. I don't know.
You missed it. You were in the other room on a phone.
I felt very detached, and I just felt detached from everything. And
you know why, right? You were on the other room on a phone.
Yeah, because
you weren't in the middle of things.
I mean,
you didn't know what was coming up next. You were MIA that entire day.
I didn't mean to be. It was just I had to come talk back here with the studio just to see.
Why didn't you do that last time?
Because
you assigned somebody to it last time.
No, I did do it. Well, actually, I did do it last time.
You did not. Al Dukes did.
I'm trying to remember.
Al Dukes came down and did it for us. I'm telling you, I know how these things run. Al Dukes did it.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So why would you think that you... I'm not going to get into it with you, Earl. But the reason why you were detached from it, you were not in the same room. You were in that side room on a phone for 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I was just stuck. I got stuck on that side of the stage.
Stuck on. You're the executive producer. No one can stick you on anything.
You weren't trapped, Earl.
You're the one who assigns what everybody's going to do. That's your job. Here's James. James, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I was wondering, Earl, were you trying to get a hold of the Stones to get them to show up for your bet?
Yeah, where's the Stones at, Earl? Both you and Dave owe bets, and people keep emailing me about them.
Well, they're still on tour in Europe, and then they had, during one of the days off, there was a horrible accident. They lost 2 of their crew guys, so they canceled shows, and now I have to reschedule them. and that's pretty much where things are right now.
When's Ron Wood doing the show?
Hopefully soon. I mean, I'm trying to get an idea of when.
Hopefully soon. Why don't you detach yourself and go in the other room and make a call?
Did you cause the horrible accident to buy yourself some more time?
Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, about the Benoit, the Post did a list. We're talking about 49 guys who died over the last 4.5 years. And I don't know, if you think if that was baseball, they probably would have shut it down by now.
Well, it'd be interesting to see, because I haven't seen the list of baseball players who have died or what reasons they've died, or football players. I mean, while you guys are sitting around acting like the WE, look at what happens to ex-pro football players. You would be embarrassed how many named guys end up basically on the dole.
Wasn't there something that came out recently that most football players have dementia?
There's tons of guys that suffer from that, from concussions. There's tons of guys that aren't covered anymore. And they keep going back and saying, well, why don't the union cut them in? The owners own the league. They need to take care of these guys. I don't see how the union should be responsible. The owners should go out of their way to go, we need to take care of guys that were in this league. It's just not fucking fair that these guys give their bodies away and end up on Skid Row. Now, if you could say, all right, they know you're responsible for what you get into, then say the same thing about the WWE, that at some point you got to have personal responsibility about what you've done with your life.
And it just seems like with any other industry, the government would stop and look into it.
I disagree. I think if you know how many guys used to work in factories died young, I think if you looked into a lot of things that have happened with people, a lot of people give their lives to just make a living week by week by week, to make money, that you trade off for money all the time. Now, we were talking about the Medicare thing in this country. If you really look at it, how many people only work their jobs so that they can have health care benefits?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they stay there the years to get the pension, the insurance that comes with it.
The health care benefits are number one when you've got kids.
Oh, right, yeah.
You've got to have that. I forget what the hell the cost is, because I think Elo gave the figure to Bob when we were, signing up with XM, whether we wanted to be part of the company or whatever. But if we would go out and buy the same benefits ourselves, Earl, do you know how much the package is on that? It's something like $25,000 a year.
Yeah, that's. I think it's between 22 and 25. Yeah.
What are you basing that on? You've heard it yourself? Or are you just trying to give a close figure to me so you don't have to make a call?
No, I'm just basing it on what I know, because I remember when I went.
Basically, you're saying this: you've got to work for a major company now because you can't do it yourself. How can you go out and freelance and come up with an extra $25,000 a year for your health care benefits if you've got any kind of family? So it's it's kind of across the board. Now, if you guys would have seen the 60 Minutes last night, you'd be tossing and turning thinking about the future of this country. And this isn't some guy on the outside. He works for the United States of America. He's going to everybody. The president, the Congress, the Senate. Nobody listens. Nobody gives a shit. Here's, and not that they don't see it or dispute his numbers. They're like, I can't take this fucking information to the American people. I'll be voted out. Nobody wants to see, taxes come up big. Sure, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, actually, on this thing. In every industry, there's something going on. The truck drivers, a lot of us are listening to your show all the time. The average life expectancy of a career truck driver now is 57 years old.
What happens to them as the years go by, Sure?
Well, I mean, let's face it, a lot of them are 400 pounds. They have a heart attack. They got to cut them out of the side of the truck.
But, one of the things, too, because I was out on the road a little bit during this vacation, there's very few non-fast food things to eat when you're traveling around. When you're on the highway part of the thing. If you don't know that town, you don't know any place decent to eat.
Every rest stop is a Burger King and a McDonald's.
Burger King, McDonald's.
And Applebee's if you're lucky.
Up yesterday, they're starting to open up these vitamin food supplement stores inside the truck stop.
Right.
So you got a 400-pound guy going to have a Big Mac and fries, and then he's going to go get his diet pills.
Yeah.
On the way out the door.
Yeah, that's scary stuff. Thanks, Shore. Peace.
Yeah, there's no industry that I think if you went from place to place to place, unless you're white collar, you're not going to see a lot of regulation by the government protecting people.
Thank you very much, buddy. Here is Dave. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I saw that 60 Minutes you were talking about, Ronnie, last night. That is friggin' terrifying.
Yeah, it is. It's the scariest thing. He said, give me his name too, Earl, because I can't think of his name and his position. But he said the threat to the United States is not terrorist. That's not anything that can bring the United States down. It's this piece that we are ignoring. And the thing that we're going to run into such financial trouble. And he goes, we are on the edge right now. We've been spending, basically on a credit card. And there's not going to be any way to catch up to it unless we make just gigantic changes right now.
Yeah, it's very odd because does anyone stop and think, where does the money come from when you got $400 billion, just going to Iraq and Afghanistan, where it's like, we didn't have that $400 billion to spend before. How do we get it now for this?
And Fez, that $400 billion is not even the kind of money we're talking about. We're talking about $8 trillion. Right. We're talking about gigantic sums of money that you and I don't have the math skills to even figure out where this stuff would come from. It will literally bankrupt the country.
When he showed that spending graph about how if things continue until the year 2045,
yeah.
I mean, there was that line where it was like where you could maintain, and then by 2045, it was so many trillions over where it would be. I mean, there's no way it could ever work.
And you start to look at, the people that he had with him were people on the left and people on the right. You know what I mean? So it's not like either side has done us any good. And if you notice, that Sicko movie didn't do well because this time the Democrats aren't telling everybody to go out and say it, because the Democrats are getting ripped just as much as the Republicans. Peace. Here's Dave. Dave, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I'm just listening to you guys, and I just think that the complacency is really set in with Americans. I'm actually impressed with the immigrants that come in here, and we need to realize that nothing comes for free. Stuff is just handed down to you. So why should we be given health care? Nobody says you have to have it. If you want it, go work for it. You obviously had to bust your butt in order to get on.
Yes, but at the same time, Dave, I have to work for a big corporation because you just can't go out and do this anymore. You know what I mean? You cannot cover yourself without being working for a corporation. So basically, it makes us all slaves to the corporate lifestyle, that we can't go out and do maybe some of the things that some guys would like to be independent. This used to be about having an independent world. You can't really pull it off anymore.
I'm totally with you, but I think that we've created too much of a safety net for Americans and others to fall back on. So say mommy and daddy are going to take care of you, or it's okay for you to go and work all right,
but I'm going to tell you something right now. You take the young guys that we have working as interns, basically working for free. If most of these guys didn't have some help from their parents when you're in your early 20s, you would not survive. There's not a job out there for people in their early 20s, even up to mid-20s, that will support a person to take care of themselves. Most of these guys are working in restaurants and shit,
Yeah.
My dad was able to buy a home in his early 20s. You don't ever hear that shit anymore. And he did it on the GI Bill. That's how he was able to pull it off. He came back from the war. There was things set up, and he was able to go get a job with no experience that paid enough for him to have a home and start a family. That just doesn't fucking exist anymore.
I'd be fucked.
Yeah.
I am fucked. I can't even imagine buying a house at 40.
Yeah.
I'm scared. If I didn't have help, the only way I'd make it is maybe if I had in with a construction or a union.
No.
That's the only way I think I could get by.
And that, is seasonal. That's really tough, too, to act like, you're taking care of year-round. But now when you have kids, you got to say to yourself, well, not only do I have to help them through college, But I'm going to have to be there for them while they're in their early 20s because they're either going to need help to live outside the house or they got to come back and live at the house.
Yeah, most of the time they're going to be back. And heaven forbid you get sick, and you don't have the insurance in the middle of all that.
Yeah, you can't pull it off.
Forget about it.
Yeah. Patrick, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey.
Yeah.
I got health care, guys. I'm a self-employed photographer. I got major medical. I spend about $125 a month on it.
Yeah, but how do you know what you got for your $125?
I'm covered for things like car accidents and major surgery, things like that. If I get sick, I go to the clinic. I go to the local clinic, spend my $80, get my prescription.
You will see what you're covered for when you go into a hospital. And then here's the thing. All right, let's suppose, and I don't know how this works, because, again, I'm watching this 60 Minutes things last night. All the people who don't pay off their hospital bills, and I have a lot of friends who are like, I'm not paying it off, right? Where does that come from? Who's paying for that?
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
Because I know guys have gone into the hospital and run up bills as high as $1 million when they weren't insured. So they're going, I can't pay that off. I'll throw them a buck or two here. But where does that money come from? I have no idea. Is that from the government?
It must be from the government because doctors and nurses are still getting paid, even though those bills aren't.
Scott, you're on Ron and Fez.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
I heard something that Lee Iacocca said recently, and he said that the reason why the United States can't compete with Japan is because in the Big Three, for every 300 workers, they're paying pension and health benefits to 325 retired.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen in this country right now. And that's what, everybody's got pensions. All these corporations set themselves up with the pensions, and most of that goes into, your health care stuff. And then we have Medicare for the retired people. And now the retired people are going to start, over the next 20 years, just fucking be this massive group of people.
It's like exponential growth. It's crazy.
Yeah. And also, Starbucks, from what I understand, you pay more per cup of coffee for the health benefits for the employees than you do for the coffee beans.
I got news for you. I used to despise Starbucks and the way they sprung up all over, but then I saw a piece done on that guy. And it is one of the best places that lower-income people can be taken care of and can get health insurance is by working for Starbucks. Because he will take care of those guys. And that is why it's a $4 cup of coffee. Because he will put the money back in so that those people are taken care of. Healthcare is just very important to this guy.
Yeah, and cover a part-timer, too. Like 20 hours a week at Starbucks is getting health care.
Right. In the meantime, again, I don't know whether you can support a family at Starbucks. I doubt it very much. Maybe if you're higher up in the management. Hey, Christian. Christian, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How are you, buddy? Christian, we got you, pal?
Yeah, you got me, Ronnie B.
Go ahead.
Mayor of Benningtonville.
What can we do for you, Christian?
I couldn't agree with you more. I work 2 jobs. I'm 25. It seems like I'm working my primary job just to pay for my insurance for my daughter and I. And it's hard to have one kid and raise one kid with health insurance just off one job.
Right.
And I'm working at a restaurant at night, so I can pay the bills. I would really welcome socialized health care, and I think a lot of the people in this country would.
I don't really know if socialized health care is the way to go, but the system we have now is fucking broke and nobody's talking about it. Well, it really should be somewhat of a national debate. And again, he brought up the thing. The younger guys are like, fuck it, I'll float it. Once you start to have kids, you can't play those games.
Yeah.
You got to go, I've got to work for a place that has insurance, because if anything comes up, I'm not going to be one of those guys, on TV sobbing and asking for money. And you do live in a fucking world now that is pretty scary. It's pretty scary when you have kids, man.
Did they mention anything about Social Security in that 60 Minutes thing?
Yeah,
that's fucked too, right?
Social Security will be screwed up over the whole deal. But health care is even more because the old people live longer and longer, and they have to be treated constantly, and something has to be done.
Oh yeah, just prescriptions alone.
Well, we just picked that up over the Bush administration. That he made a deal. This came up last night. That he made a deal that was going to add an extra $8 trillion because you got to have that old people vote. So he signed out on prescription medicine, which we didn't have before. And this guy's going, I know it seems nice, but where's that money come from? We have no plan on how to pay this off. What's his name, Earl?
Comptroller General David Walker.
David Walker. Just some stupid egghead with glasses going around trying, you know what I mean? Like the only guy who's going, I've seen the books, and they're frightening. And he tells the Republicans and he tells the Democrats, and everybody's like, yeah, it's fucked up.
Death and
yeah.
Fucking...
Yeah, this isn't even like a secret that some scientist is working on that they're keeping from us. This is out there. The information is there.
But again, who's it back to? Back to us. We don't give a shit. We don't care about tomorrow. We're playing our own games. Here's Stryker. Stryker, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
Hello.
What can we do for you?
Hey, you guys talking about how expensive insurance is for self-employed. When my father is self-employed, and he pays $700 a month for insurance just for himself. And like Fez, he's got diabetes and he's got heart problems. And a week ago, he had to have a stent put in, and he just got his first set of bills from the hospital and the anesthesiologist and whatnot. The insurance only covered 80%, and he's looking at about $30,000 for his out-of-pocket expenses.
Right.
And I told him, I said, that can't be right. I said that means that if they paid 80% for 2 days, it was over almost $100,000.
Yeah.
I said, for your cost, I said that can't be right. And he's actually looking back into it now. But
no, that's right.
I mean, $100,000 for 2 days, Fez?
Yeah. I mean, it rolls up in incredible amounts because everybody sees you gets paid. It's all separate bills.
Whether you have the insurance or not, the hospital is charging the exact same thing. When my dad was in the hospital last year, he got a $1,400 shot they had to give him.
Well, see, and the week before, he had gone in for carpal tunnel syndrome, for carpal tunnel surgery, and the insurance covered on that, all but like $800 of it, and it was done outpatient. And, I mean, I'm looking at this stuff thinking, my employer, I work in the trucking industry, my employer is talking about reducing our insurance coverage, and I walked in the office this morning going, please don't. I'm begging you, don't reduce our coverage.
Right.
When I look at what all this stuff is costing now, I mean, I've had insurance for years, and I've never really, paid that close of attention to it until now. And it's ridiculous.
All right, thanks. Yeah, it is a wake-up call. It's a fucking shocker is what the hell it is.
Yeah, and when you check in, when they admit you into a hospital, oh my gosh, does that meter start running then? For every little thing.
But again, why? I mean, why is that the system? We've never sat down and went, why is that the system? We don't know everything it takes to run a hospital. I know that they have their own monetary problems. Overall, it's this. The whole system's fucked up. You really need to overhaul the whole damn thing. Oh. And I'm not saying socialized medicine, because I don't even know enough about that. But I'm saying at some point, the system we have now butt fucks us over and over.
Yeah, how do you charge $16 for a Tylenol when it's pennies on the shelf outside?
But again, how do you know what they take to keep those lights on? I mean, we don't know all that side. We only know our side walking in. But if they start to charge that, would we start losing hospitals?
Oh, yeah.
At what point is what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, you always fall back into the easy bullshit things about, doctors taking Wednesdays off and, you'll get into the blowhard bullshit of, well, we take care of immigrants and they should. It's a much more complex problem. The last thing you want to do is sit around like crabs in a pot, acting like you can fix it. But we got to say, this thing does need to be fixed. Rob, you're on Ron and Fez.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
Good.
I'm calling. I think what we've ignored is that the president took a stab at trying to solve this problem at the beginning of this term when he introduced legislation to privatize Social Security. And while even if we don't debate whether or not we like that plan, it was shot down so quickly by the Democrats, who didn't have an alternative solution, that it wasn't even given a chance to be talked about.
Hey, Rob, it wasn't just the Democrats. There was a lot of Republicans. Anybody who answers to the AARP fucking rolled back on that quick.
Agreed. So I guess that begs the question is, are we actively seeking solutions, or are we just sitting back on our heels and waiting for the shit to hit the fan, because it's going to very soon?
Yeah, that's exactly what this thing was about last night. There is no such thing as fucking actual debate in this country. We get hit from the left with like their little story points. We get hit with the right from their little story points. You know, the Fox News guys will slam the stuff they need to slam. The people on the left will slam what they need to slam. But nobody will sit down and discuss these things and put it on TV. The main reason is none of us will fucking watch it. We do not have an adult's amount of attention to sit down and fucking pay attention to this shit. We don't care. We got to take a break here. We come back. We're going to have Mafia Life Chris on the phone will tell us about his internet problems, and Fezzi's been duped.
Oh, no.
We're going to talk to him about it. Ron and Fez Show.
It's the Ron and Fez Show on XM 202.
Ron and Fez Show. All right, we got Mafia Life Chris ready to go on. He's our Big Brother journalist, Fez. He lets us know everything that's happening in that Big Brother house.
Won't you, Big Brother, Big Brother?
It's a Big Brother update.
Mafia Life Chris, how are you, my friend?
Welcome back, guys.
Thank you very much. How are things at MafiaLife.com? Is there a new mafia running things? The new Don in town?
There's like 20 different families in that game. They're all like 30, 60 strong.
But isn't there a top family?
Yeah, there is actually a top family.
That's the one I want to join. I want to join right at the top, Fezzy, and I want to be godfather of that.
Just sign up. I think you get to. Who's to stop you? It's pretend.
Chris, what's happening? I understand that you were part of a scandal during our vacation.
Yeah, man.
What exactly took place?
All right. Well, basically, when we all started getting involved in Pal Talk, I started a Mafia Life Pal Talk room. Met this girl who supposedly played Mafia Life. All her pictures, everything hot to the nine. She had stories for, days. She made lots of friends. All right, here's a picture of her that Pitsy has given us. Lovely, lovely young lady.
Oh, beautiful.
Just gorgeous.
Yep, cheerleader, supposedly. Texas girl. I was started talking to her. I got involved in the show. She loved it, blah, blah, blah. Bought an XM unit, got her pink unit, and started calling into the show, posting on Spread the Iris.
All right, so she's called our show before?
Yeah, she called as Paige twice. Something was, small town football parades.
Oh, I do remember her.
Okay.
Yeah, she said that her town goes crazy for football.
Yeah. She had a MySpace. She had 6, 7, really hot cheerleader friends, etc., etc. Anyway, I got personally close with her, and she got close to everyone on the boards, of course. And over the course of 5 months, convinced me to, after telling me she wanted to go to NYU and move from Texas to New York, and her father was a lawyer, to get her any apartment in my neighborhood. I says, yeah. So she shows me this apartment that she's going to move. I says, okay, maybe once you get here, we'll start dating. The deadline comes up. Let's say it was a Tuesday. That Monday night, I get an email. A fucking fraud. The picture was fake. All the MySpace hot chicks were fake.
Oh.
She was using pictures of a friend's I got caught up in the basic scandal. I let my guard down.
You let your guard down, and she was not the girl she said she was. Now, let me guess. 45-year-old man? It's me, Paige.
It was a 20-year-old chick.
Yeah.
And she was overweight. And they ripped her. I basically said to her in the email, hey, listen, me and you, are done with, obviously. Don't bother coming here. And
right.
If I was you, I would out yourself on the message boards. In our respect.
Right.
And then she goes and posts an I'm sorry thread, got totally ripped to shreds. FBA started coming in, hit her while she was down. I had to lock the thread because,
Now, doesn't this happen a lot on the internet, though, where people say they're one thing and they're not?
It really does. That's why this is something. I usually have my guard down. I don't usually date like that. You know what I'm saying?
So you honestly, you thought of her as your girlfriend?
I actually said it at least once or twice.
Oh, jeez.
To some people, I'm telling you that I got duped over here, and they don't give a shit. I've been writing people off since I was born, so it's not a big deal. She's a fraud. Nobody fucking wants her on the website. After we did that, we pretty much whacked her off the site. We banned her, and we put this nice. If you go to Spread the Iris.
All right, but here's the thing, isn't it? If it's all pretend anyway, right? And it's just message boards and pretend mafia. What do you care whether she sent a fake picture, other than the fact that you started to have feelings for an imaginary, I guess, model?
Well, I started to read the threads, and basically everyone was hurt by this. Not hurt, but didn't want her on the board, like saying, she didn't deserve to really be in the community. So, the admins got together. Me, Bam, and Frenchie sat, and said, listen, what are we going to... And we decided to, she had to go. Like I said...
Was it 3-0 to vote her out?
It was 3-0, 100%. Yes, it was.
Well, I know Bam would be against her, but I thought maybe Frenchie would have a little bit of,
We're not saying we're a drama-free board. It's impossible, but it's a drama-light board. And that girl, when that happened, it was just nothing but drama on the board. And I started a thread called "She's Got to Go." Thank you to Photoshop Mike. He made this really good clip. If you go there, you can see Paige getting clipped off.
All right, but here's the thing. For me, I see this all as part of the pretend internet thing. What about you, Dave? I know you spend time on boards and all. Is this something that is a big no-no?
This is a huge no-no. Mm-hmm. First of all, Chris is leaving out a pretty important detail. He left Frenchie for this person. He left an actual human being for Paige.
For a pretend one?
For a pretend person that he got totally duped. Basically, the internet godfather was apparently carrying his internet oranges and got shot.
When you're on the internet, and I've been to parties and met people who are really outspoken on the internet, and then they're real quiet and almost mousy in real life. And so I don't think you ever really are real on the internet. Like a lot of the people yell, fuck you and all that stuff. They would never say that to your face. They would never say that in a bar. A lot of these people were uncomfortable even going to bars. That's why they get so drunk so fast. Look at Leader. I don't know. It seems like he has to be hammered to appear in public.
But he internet cheated on someone.
Who did?
Because of this. Chris internet cheated with this woman. The IM.
How do you internet cheat? Oh, by IMing?
IMing. I want you. I want you bad.
Chris, how did she fake you out on Pal Talk? I thought you see real. Did she hire somebody to go on as her, or did she have some computer head?
No, I never asked her. I wasn't a skeptic. I didn't say, "Oh, let me see what you look like." After a while, I was playing Mafia Life, and already friends of mine knew her and were telling me stories, and I thought they were real. Blah blah blah. I let my guard down.
So you feel embarrassed right now?
You assumed if she was playing Mafia Life, she had to be beautiful.
I was embarrassed at first. Now I'm over it. But I have to correct Dave, Ronnie.
Yeah.
I mean, if Frenchie was on the line, and I challenge you can call her at any time, there was no cheating involved. Me and Frenchie, although we didn't post it on a message board, which is where you get your information, we've been long gone months before that.
All right, good point there, Chris. It goes to show you can't believe things on the internet.
Yeah, of course, and it also goes to show what a rumor can start.
But I will say this. I've known some of these internet and Pal Talk people who will get on some of these girls will get on a plane to go suck a cock. So you can't be totally like, I don't believe.
Me and Frenchie still talk every day. We have one of the closest relationships I've ever had.
Well, you got your new girlfriend, Don Vito.
You know what? That was really uncalled for. Because Don Vito is real. All right, here's somebody who wants to talk to us. Paige.
Hi.
Are you the real Paige?
Yes.
First of all, let me start this with apologizing for Fez and the Don Vito remark.
It's okay.
He's an awful person. Not Don Vito, Fez.
You know, I understand that I'm going to get bashed. I'm totally okay. I've already seen it on the board. Whatever. Not really that worried about it. You know, I think that a lot of the people are upset that they kind of fell for it. The only people that I feel like really have the right to be upset are the people that I did get close to, like Chris and like other friends of mine.
All right, Paige, why? Let's go all the way through it. And
go to the beginning of why it started.
Why would you put up a fake picture? Why would you put up a fake picture of yourself?
It was mafia life. I could be whoever I wanted to be.
All right, so right away you thought this is just a fantasy game, so I'm going to go online and get a picture of some hot chick and
well,
say
no,
that's me.
My friend Danielle, and I asked her if I could use her picture, and she said yes. She was like, I don't care. You know,
okay.
It's not a big deal. And so I joined Mafia Life for that. Well, when we went into the Mafia Life fan room, you know, there was all these silly rules, and one of them was like, you know, stay in character. That's fine, stay in character. Well, then people started to get me to know me as this character, this person. And so it kept going, and, you know, eventually you're at a point where you kind of tell the truth or just disappear, and, you know, I'm a big fan of the site. And the whole Ron and Fez thing, I like your show.
Thank you.
I didn't know it before I came here. When I actually got to talk to everybody, I was introduced through Mafia Life.
So this is like one of those teen movies where something happens and it just blows out of proportion and you didn't know how to get out of it.
Well, you tell the people, you know, that you're on the phone with, you know, once you get on the phone with them, you tell them, oh, listen, I got a confession to make, blah, blah, blah. You don't let 5 months go by.
The rule says stay in character.
But do you understand that, like, it's hard to tell the truth once you've already told a lie? It's hard to go.
I honestly do, and this is a young girl.
And it's like people that I was talking to, it was hard for me to go, yeah, I'm friends with you know, I'm not really who you thought I was. And it's hard to say that. And then to know that, you know, now it's going to be totally blown out, and that's fine. I'm not all that. No, I'm hurt by some of the stuff that I'm reading. I mean, I really don't think that I did anything horrible that I should be run over by a train and poked with a stick while my bloody body lays on the side of the road. I think that's a little...
All right, Paige, I understand all the fantasy stuff and what you were saying. Not that I would ever go online and pretend I was in the mafia, but that's just me. But I understand you're acting like, you know, because I know a lot of these guys post like they're tough guys, and they're not, you know? So I see it as the same thing. But why tell Chris I'm moving to Brooklyn, and why make him feel like he had a little hot internet girlfriend when he didn't?
It wasn't so much just like me let me see how far I can go with this guy. It wasn't like that. I mean, honestly, I did get to know Chris.
Just say I'm a big fat liar.
I am a big fat liar.
All right, let me ask you this, Paige. Was there any phone sex that took place between you and Chris?
That's personal.
Chris.
What's up?
This is what you're most upset about, right?
No.
Hey, Ronnie, you wouldn't jack to that picture?
You know, this is the thing, Chris.
The picture.
It's the whole thing was a fantasy.
Okay.
I know for a fact Bam has sent out pictures of Lorenzo Lamas as himself.
You don't know that for a fact.
I do.
Yeah. All right, so
you jack the porn every day. Those are fake fantasies too. So it's nothing. We write this girl off. You know, she's a fan. She's a fan. Good. You know.
But you're not going to get a porn star, and you weren't going to get this star. And quite frankly, someone that looks like this chick here, who is, you know, pretty hot, they're not going to be hanging around on Mafia Life for 12 hours at a time. You know. And this Paige, this was her thing.
I don't think I should be banned from a fan site if I'm still a fan. So what I lied, it doesn't say in the terms and conditions that you can't lie about who you are.
So it's
spread the art as a Mafia Life character.
So you actually want to be back with these guys?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Even though they've said horrible things about you.
You know what? That's fine. I deserve it. I did lie to them. I sat there and I let them bash me and go off and do whatever they want to my pictures. They had 2 full days of going onto my real MySpace and taking my pictures and doing what they wanted with them. So,
So why do you want to still be friends with these people, Paige? Why not just, cut bait, go to another site and have a picture of Raquel Welch that none of the younger guys know and say, this is me. I'm wearing a fur bikini.
I could do that, but I don't want to. I'm tired of it. It was done. It got out of hand, and I will admit that. I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong. I didn't. I should have told the truth. I should have, from the very first phone call I ever had with Chris, I should have told him. And you know what? I didn't, and I apologize to them. If they want to take my apology, they can. But I'm not. What else can I do except say I'm sorry, and this is me. This is who I am.
Fez, would you accept her apology?
I would accept Paige's apology, yes.
Dave, would you?
I would.
Yeah.
I'd accept it.
I'm going to go along with the boys here. I think that, this whole thing happened, but weren't you all kind of friends with her on some level, Chris?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, and we
were friends.
And the phone sex was fantastic. That can still go on.
I'm not going to trust her ever again, but listen, it was a decision the admins made. The moderators made for the site. You're a moderator, Ronnie.
Oh yeah, but
you can overthrow it. Make the call.
You still
doing that?
No, well, everyone gave me that, but once they gave you the goddess thing, I was so furious. I wouldn't do anything. But I'm not going on these sites for this stuff. But she seems like a nice girl who got caught up in something, Chris.
I know, but it's not just my call, I got to talk to Bam.
How many other people jacked to you, Paige? Do you know? How many other internet boyfriends did you have?
I didn't have any other.
Just Chris?
It wasn't like that. It was just,
I've
friends
spanked
that I
her.
had talked to.
All right, hold on. Dave, you've also spanked her?
Yeah, before I met my lovely wife, I definitely. She's a member of FBA. And I spanked her. I got no problem admitting that. But see, here's the thing, Chris. You're supposed to be the Don of the web. So surely you should do some digging before you invite someone to move in.
Yes, you're right. You're right, Dave. I took a hit. No big deal. I'll brush it off.
He admits to that, too. All right, here comes Pitsy. Pitsy?
Yeah, I jacked to her, too, Ronnie.
All right, so now you got 3 guys who have jacked to you, Paige.
I have never jacked to Paige.
Have you to Mafia Life, Chris?
A lot of the guys
No
have
comment.
said that there's not, she's not there anymore, and they don't have that to jack to anymore. And I think that's a lot of the hurt and upset.
Why can't you guys jack to her new picture? To the real her?
I just like the way her hair was done in the first picture. And
it's not her.
All right, hold on. Here's Lil on cam wants to get involved in this. And I will trust that since her and Earl get along so well. Lil, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to say I never jacked a Paige because we were calling her out for being a fake whore last December.
Is that true, Paige? Were the girls on to you?
I have to say that's
they
true.
were upset that we took over their site, which we made one night of retarded post pouring in one thread, and they got all bent out of shape. And you know what? Whatever, because it totally.
But they did call you out.
It's now made Candy Mountain Mantown, which started from the Skittles.
I don't even know any of that crazy talk. Lil, would you ban her for life, or would you let her on?
I'd ban her for life. I also want to know why she applied to go into the hottest girl of FBA and scam people out of $1,000.
All right, that one's bad, Paige.
I didn't. I was asked to be in it, and I knew that I wasn't going to win. Hello, it's FBA. Not maybe 2 people on there are okay with me. Honestly, thought I was.
There's no excuse for that. That was money
I
involved.
To join. I didn't join it this year. I said no.
There was money involved. You shouldn't have joined if you were fake. That's the bottom line. And they did nothing. With all due respect, they did out you in the Skittles thread. Right away, they were calling you a fraud, and I should probably believe them.
Thanks, Lil. All right, Paige. I can forgive a lot of stuff, but, Uncle Inky, I got nothing but respect for
To
him.
be honest, if I would have won, I wouldn't have taken it.
You can't say that now, though.
Yeah, I know y'all.
Because you would have been costing somebody else that money.
They would have given it to the runner-up.
I don't like the idea if somebody's a runner-up to a fake. But all right. Here's Tom. Tom, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting how shallow this guy Chris is. Here he had this month-long relationship with this girl. He was in love with her. He was going to have her move in until he saw her picture.
Yeah.
She was too fat for him.
We were going to go out on a date, bro.
But here's the
we
thing.
Didn't get that serious. Like,
Chris, this is like Shrek. And everybody would have been really upset at Shrek if Shrek wouldn't have married girl Shrek and just wanted Cameron Diaz. Or if Cameron Diaz didn't like Shrek. I don't even understand all looks.
She's a liar, Ronnie. I'm not attracted to liars.
But she's still the same person that you
that's not
had
true.
conversations with.
No, she had made a whole story in real life, too. Our father was,
There is no real life. That's the point. None of this, you haven't met in real life. The phone isn't real life. None of this stuff is real life. It's all pretend. You guys live on the other side of the country from each other. Tom, you're on Ron and Fez.
It's real life out here. Welcome back, buddies.
Thanks.
Paige, I say hats off to you. String these boneheads along 100 times more if you can. You guys are fucking losers if you're jacking off to these people in a fantasy world.
All right.
To quote the great William Shatner on SNL, get a life. Go fishing. Get a girlfriend. Do something but spanking it to a fucking computer? Come on. Go out and live it.
All right, thanks, Tom. Dave, what do you say to that one?
I disagree. What's wrong about spanking it? A guy likes to...
You can spank it to anything you want, though.
Yeah, but...
Why blame her because she supplied a picture that you did it to?
Well, because she was supposed to be, an actual person,
yeah,
who belongs to a great message board. So you feel like you have some personal connection.
I like the fact that you're calling STI a great message board. That means a lot to me.
Good about FBA.
Yeah.
No, but into defense of myself, it wasn't all a lie.
What part was real? What was real? Your heart?
A lot of stories that I told and a lot of my personality and wit is all in there. And so the people on the message board that only got to see my post, that's all me. I made the post. It's not like some other person and I was just making up stuff just to make up stuff. A lot of the people that are saying that they're hurt is because they're like, well, this isn't real. No, it is real. It's stupid. So
is real.
It's like, that's fine. I understand them being mad. But I think, saying that I lied about everything is just ridiculous. Even I don't have that kind of talent.
All right, here is Jade. Jade, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I got involved with somebody off this other website, and I didn't present myself exactly how I appear.
I bet.
But
the old 12-year-old pictures that some people do?
No, actually, it was a hotter relative than me.
Ah, geez. All right, so you did the same exact thing.
Yeah, but see, you know what? When he...
Because one time I saw this hot picture of a chick, but she was sitting in an El Camino. And I'm like, I'm not sure. All right, go ahead, Jade.
Paige's mistake was, when there was like feelings there that she didn't confess. The second dude said that he loved me. I'm like, okay, well, how about if I email you my driver's license? So that's gonna be the worst picture of me anyway.
And that ended it?
No, actually, I try and fuck him every night. It worked out awesome.
All right, so you're saying that all this stuff, if Chris would really get in, Chris is in love with Paige, not fake Paige, the picture. He's in love with real Paige.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
It's shallow how?
Shallow
how?
Once you decide you've connected with, then run with that, okay? If
all
you
right,
just want
thanks,
to
Jay.
phone or
There's
do,
no
then,
connection with a liar.
All right, you've never told a lie in your life, Chris.
Oh, I've lied before. I have no connection with her, though. I'm not attracted to her in a bit. In fact, she's dishonest, and, I'm unattracted to her.
And yet, why she still wants to be part of your community?
She wants to be a fan. That's not my call. She's banned on Spread the Iris.
All right, here's...
RonandFez.net's a really good Ron and Fez site. The best of them all.
About going to RonandFez.net.
I'm going to uncut. I'm just saying that, I liked Spread the Iris. I liked, who I met there.
Even though they're mean to you now.
It's not everybody, though. There's still a lot of people that, are Ron and Fez fans and are saying, whatever, these people got duped, that's fine. I'm not saying whatever, you know.
This would be like us finding out Fezzi didn't have stents and he was just going away on cruises. All right,
I picked something that I can't prove.
Here's Brian. You're on Fez.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I'm just listening to this. I used to be like a really good friend of Paige's. I still have some contact with her.
Some feelings.
Just, set the record straight as I see it. It used to be the Mafia Life fan room. It was open a lot of the time. And Paige came in, great personality, fun person. Chris went ape shit over to Paige's. Paige. Frenchie'd go to bed. Chris had Paige overlays all about her. It recorded.
I see. So this was during the Frenchie time.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were messing around back to, in
Chris, is this true?
To her
No,
credit, Paige
everyone was just out of the loop, Frenchie's, she can't defend herself right now. She's, sick. So, but if she called in, I'm sure she... Just for the record, this is a suspended Mafia Life player.
Oh, okay, Brian. You're a suspect to begin with.
Chris is all you're trying to play the poor martyr and this and that. And he was lying to Frenchie. And, I think Paige will back this up. There's nothing going on. We're just friends. But they were talking after about the middle of January about 8 hours a day on the phone,
Yeah.
Chris and Paige.
I think.
Had a really good friendship.
And Paige is telling me that she has feelings for him and this and that. And it ended up that my friendship with Paige kind of came to an end. It's unfortunate.
Because of this? Because she picked Chris?
It wasn't that. Paige and I, it was a friendship. It was based on personality.
And who was talking 8 hours a day on the phone?
Chris and Paige.
All right, how does everybody make a living? Who's got 8 hours a day to spend on the phone? Paige, what do you do? Do you do anything?
It's obviously a lie.
I work at an insurance.
All right, so you can talk at work.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to somebody who's wise. Fred from Brooklyn. Hello, Fred.
Hey, what's up, boys? Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Chris. During this whole break, we were at a barbecue, me and Chris, a small little barbecue. And I was dabbling in conversation with him at a point, and he was telling me about this beautiful girl that's coming up, and everything's going good and looking great. But the real part of this, Ron, is that she says that this person is her friend. And if everybody's jacked to her friend, I think we should hear from her friend. I think that should be the price back in.
All right, yeah, Paige, here's what I'm thinking. What's this friend of yours' real name?
Her name's Danielle.
If you can get Danielle beef shots, I think everything's forgiven.
Get her what?
Beef shot.
Okay.
Do you think that could be worked out?
Probably not.
Could we get her on the phone one day to tell her side of the story and what you're like?
That's fine. I mean, I can call Danielle and have her.
Chris, would you believe that?
I wouldn't believe anything coming out of Paige's mouth.
Paige, why don't you do that? Why don't you try to hook up you and Danielle to be on one day, all right?
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye, honey.
Bye.
I was talking to Chris.
Hey, she's a good fan.
To me, she's just a kid who, got caught up in a crazy lie. All right, MafiaLife.com. Go on there, put the picture of yourself up as a hot chick. Go out, and everybody will fall all over you.
Gonna have to change it to suckers.com.
You didn't send her any money, did you, Chris?
No, come on. I wasn't even that attached. You guys are busting my balls.
You send her fucking cum in a baby jar, in a baby food jar.
That's Dave's territory.
Whoa!
I don't know what that is in reference to.
All right, talk to you later, Chris.
Take care. Get well soon, Frenchie.
All right, peace.
See, I've never been swindled.
I just thought with the Pal Talk you could see the people wandering around.
Some people might not have cameras, so they use it as an IM device.
I see.
It's basically the same thing. But
I miss having the Pal Talk in here.
I know. We really have to connect it back up. I hear a lot of
wait,
people.
it's you.
I'll get working on it.
You hear a lot of people what?
No, I hear people, they can feel that they're not, in the show anymore because Mr. B can't see them on camera.
No, there's only a couple. None of the guys. None of the guys have the slightest interest in.
Well, they think that they...
I'm not Mafia Life Chris. You told the guys that we never even put their pictures up.
I didn't say that.
Putting up funny signs and all, they're wasting their time.
I didn't tell them that.